Hi friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. We're going to be giving the Acrobee BLV4 another shot here. The bind and fly that they sent me, there was OSD issues, and it also, the weirdest thing about it is that it wouldn't connect to ESC configurator or BL Heli or anything. So yeah, Newbie Drone sent me another AIO that we're going to swap in and see if it's any better. We're also going to be flying the 1002 23,500 kV Mobula 7 ELRS again. And we're going to be trying it on the new Gemfan triblades. And we're also going to be trying out the hot heat. Shout out to tinywhoop.com for sending these over. Jesse sent me a set of the HQ tri-blade prototypes that are super lightweight. So yeah, lot to do tonight. Lots to do. Look at all these new stickers that Jesse sent me. There's that one. There's this one. This is Whoop Lube. It's a scantily clad lady. There's this little guy. Notice flying whoops can be addictive. Whoop Lube. Jesse recently learned Photoshop and or Illustrator, and he's just going ham, and I love it. Might as well fly the finest, it says. Very cool stuff. Jesse's stickers have always been awesome, but man, he's kicked it up a notch, which is super fun. How are you guys doing? That was a little bit of flying from a while ago, actually. Playing around with putting the session 90 degrees in there to get the vertical field of view, which works better on Instagram. Northern Tier FPU was first in the chat. Bob Bruce was next. Frank Nicholas. Mick. It's so I've been pronouncing it Mick Muckus. It's actually Mick Mucus. He let me know. I prefer Mick Muckus, but I'll pronounce it Mick Mucus because that's the way it should be pronounced. Tommy B FPV, Jason, Ram Donko, Carlux, Cortez Campbell, Recyclops. Great. Another night where my mouth is not cooperating. Ram Donko, Flush FPV, Cody No Sleeves, Eedok. So actually, no, it's not that my mouth is acting up. It's that all of a sudden there's all these colors in the. It looks like you guys can now pick colors for your names in chat, and I'm just not used to that for some reason, and it's making my brain not work right. I'm all with the colors though. I'm also trying to not say that. Whenever I go through chat, I try to not say the same people twice. And you would think that the colors would make that easier, but what I'm immediately realizing is happening is that like some of you guys have the same color. So like I see the same color and I'm like, oh, I don't need to read that name, and then I look and I'm like, wait, it's two different people, and then I have to think like, shit, did I read that name already? Streamer problems. Cody No Sleeves, EE Doc, Bob Bruce, Ram Donko, Brandon's Baked Beans, Glenn Burnett, June Loco, Mr. Huggy. What's up, friends? If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV, and when you do that, it'll light up an orange like this, and I'll know that you're talking to me. You can put an @ in front of it, but you don't have to. You can do that with each other, too. If you want to get somebody else in chat's attention, type their name. Just like in real life, you know? You say somebody's name, and then you speak to them. In the chat, you type somebody's name. Spell it right, put the spaces in the right spots, and for them and them alone, it'll light up an orange. Bob Bruce tagged me first. He said, say my name, LOL, CiottiFPV, what's up? How's everybody doing today? Cortez Campbell says, what's up, CiottiFPV and gang? I feel fine, but like my nose and ears and nose and throat. My nose and ears and nose. Great. My ears, nose, and throat are being jerks still, but I feel fine. Although I'm pretty exhausted still. Eedok says, hey, CiottiFPV, is 35 pie charts of Whooptopia data too many? That's a lot. 35 is a lot. Good lord, my man. Ramdango says, yo, good health. All right, fun per volt is here as well. Hey, couple of really cool, good pieces of content on YouTube that I wanted to just kind of show you guys. This is from Quad66. This is the first time that I've ever seen someone who really knows what they're doing. I just dropped a link in chat. Somebody that really knows what they're doing in terms of tuning, being able to do a custom Tinywhoop PID tune that's on a Meteor 65 frame and 0702s, and it's very lightweight. It is on PH 2.0, so the tune might change more than you'd think on BT 2.0 because it's just such a drastic difference in power delivery. But this is a really just watch this, guys. Just watch this. Quad 66 is awesome. Watch the whole thing. I know it's 20 minutes, but hey, you're here on a 2+ hour live stream. So yeah, he talks about the build. He talks about some of the limitations. He shows the noise here, and then he dives into the actual tune. There is a lot that we can learn from this PID tune. This is a fairly specific build. The two things that I think are going to make this build maybe not, but maybe significantly different than the builds that I always recommend are, well, three things actually. PH 2.0 versus BT 2.0. The camera is pushed really far forward, so potentially his build here has more weight spread across the pitch axis than what we're used to, but I don't really, it's a fairly lightweight camera, it's a fairly lightweight little TPU mount there, so I think that's the least of these three things. The only other thing is that so this is the Beta FPV 1S board, which does not have a VTx built in, but it does have black box built in. That's the other thing that's kind of crazy here. This is also one of the first times that we've gotten a custom Whoop tune from an on-board black box chip. Previously, pretty much all of there wasn't much of it, but any black box data that we had from Tinywhoops previously was from an open logger, which is a separate PDB that you have to like VHB to the bottom or to the top or to the back of the camera. And just inherently, that's going to throw off the balance of the quad. It's also going to, we really don't, with that, we don't know, there's a difference between the gyro that's sitting on the open logger that is then VHB'd to the rig and the gyro that's on the AIO. This is one of the first times that we're getting black box data from a gyro that's on the AIO, the flight controller. And that's a big deal because that's really what the tune is basing its adjustments off of. So this is a really big deal, and like I said, there's a lot that we can learn from this. The third thing though that I think might make this a little bit different than what we fly is that since there's no VTx on this AIO, he has had to VHB a VTx on top of the AIO there. But I think that this data that he's got here is as close as we've ever gotten to like the full story of what our whoops are kind of going through, especially 0702, especially on a Meteor 65 frame. So yeah, watch that video. At the end of the video, he shows his PID tune and the filters. What I think is the most important to us is the filtering. The filtering that he's got for this rig. If we have some time tonight, I would love to change some of the filtering on a couple of my rigs and see how they react in comparison to his. Or we might just do that on Friday. Maybe that's our Friday topic, because tonight the big thing that we're doing is the new Bee Drone rig, swapping the AIO. And, I'm going to have to swap BT 2.0 over, and we're going to play around with a bunch of stuff in Betaflight. So tonight we're going to focus on this, but if we do get some time, we are going to work through either tonight or Wednesday. We're going to take a look at some of the tuning. In terms of the PID tune, his tune that he landed on with this rig is actually very similar to what I've got on these guys and to what we kind of talk about, which is just crank up the master multiplier. For the most part, it's just crank the master multiplier up. He also cranks up the P and D sliders and does a couple other subtle things, but yeah, just cranking up the PID tune is the big thing that's kind of going on. But what's really interesting to me is the filtering. There's some very specific filtering stuff that he does, which, I find to be kind of cool. The main points are he's only running a single harmonic on the RPM filtering. That's really interesting. And then there's a static D-term notch that he drops in that I'm really curious about. And those are the two things that I'm really looking forward to kind of exploring on my own rigs. So yeah, that's what's coming either late tonight or on Friday. I do have some batteries charged up. We could maybe piggyback that along with testing out these HQ triblades, but we'll see. We'll see if we have time. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Bed Bath & Beyond, yo. Ramdonko says, so 0702 for 65 and 0802 for 75 seems to be CiottiFPV, maybe. I think so. We're going to kind of confirm that when I snag a set of those Tinywhoop 1.5mm shaft 0802s. But yeah, I'm not terribly impressed with these 1002s. On these biblades. Maybe they'll do a little bit better on the triblades, but I doubt it. This rig, you know, on Monday's stream, towards the end, at the very end of the stream, we flew this and back-to-back this with the 65mm rigs. And standard kind of fare for these 75mm rigs is they're just kind of lazy. They're just, they're not snappy, they're not poppy. They just feel so much heavier, and they are a lot heavier. They're like 20% heavier than the 65mm rigs. And you can really feel that. And for, you know, really technical indoor freestyle, that leads to a lot more crashes. And like, why would you do that to yourself? So, yeah, not blown away by these 1002s. I do still have some plans for them. Maybe this is a decent jungle gym basher. We'll see. Right now I'm sort of still focused on indoor flying because the weather is still abysmal here in Georgia, Atlanta. But yeah, we'll see. Standard kind of 75 versus 65 stuff though. Yeah, it's just not as good. Tinywhoops are all about staying super lightweight, and no matter what, the 75s are going to be significantly heavier weight. If you're looking to do long range stuff, 75 for sure. Anything other than that, 65. It's just better. Sorry, it is. Eedok says DM'd you a link on Discord. Very cool. Where the hell is Discord? There it is. There it is. Draft of the post, Whooptopia survey. All right, cool. I'm gonna look at that after the stream, Eedok. Hey, the other video that I wanted to kind of put in front of you guys is from my buddy Ryan Harrell, Quad McFly. Just dropped the link into the chat. This is a little tiny mini documentary that a guy that he ran into did about Ryan, which is really cool. If you don't know Ryan, this is like 3-4 minutes that'll tell you pretty much everything you need to know about him from the FPV space. What I thought was incredibly cool, though, about this documentary, mini documentary, is this was filmed relatively recently, because that right there is my 3-inch frame. And there's a whole bunch of shots in here of the 3-inch frame. So actually, there it is. Look at it. Look at it. There it is. I'm going to keep this small and hope that's not it. That's it, though. There it is. That's not it. So yeah, I was just like, oh my God, it's just the coolest thing ever, you know? So yeah, check this out. Ryan is an awesome guy. Such a cool person. I met Ryan at, there it is again. There it is. Is that it? That might be it. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a bunch of little shots of the 3-inch frame, and I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So yeah, check that out for sure. Ryan is such a cool dude. Just an awesome human being. I met him at Quad Camp 4.5-5 years ago at Joshua Bardwell's house. And he'd been friends with Joshua at that point. But yeah, we just hit it off, and I, you know, engineers, like I just love engineers, and he's just a super cool human being. So we started talking, and we've been like internet friends ever since. I wish he wasn't 5 hours away. I'd love to hang out with the dude more, but yeah, I mean, welcome to the 2000s, right? Like I feel like most of our friends we don't really hang out with. Most of our friends at this point are through the internet, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. YouTube, stop telling me to insert ads. Leave me alone, YouTube. So yeah, I wanted to call those out. Let me get caught up on chat, and then we'll dive into the Acrobee things. And sorry, I had to organize these batteries. They weren't perfectly sitting flush. Dub Squared says that Beta FPV board also has serial ELRS instead of SPI. Yeah, there's a lot of things to like about that Beta FPV board. But man, having an external VTx is just so annoying. It's just, on a Tinywhoop, there's not a great spot for it. And like, it's just annoying as hell. I mean, although, now that I look, I mean, I guess you could maybe sneak it on the bottom underneath the battery. But like, man, these Happy Model boards are just so easy. They're just so easy to build. What I guess I will say, though, is that, so there's not a great spot for them with my preferred, like, Mobula build. Like, you can't, it's not going to fit right underneath this canopy with the TrueRC Singularity in there. But with the pinch cam builds, it actually, there's a nice spot for an external VTx behind the pinch cam here. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like for this build, maybe I'll switch this build over to the Beta FPV AIO. You know what I mean? It might make sense for this build here. The Logitech app is coming up any second now. The video quality on this webcam will get a lot better. Oh no, it crashed. What the hell? Oh my god. There's like 10,000. What? Stop! Stop! What? Stop, yo. What are you doing? What's happening? It's like 8,000 windows popping open. What the fuck? Yo, Logitech, burn in a fire. The app is damaged or incomplete? What the fuck? Oh my god. Alright, well. Wait, no, did it just clean up? I think it just cleaned up. I don't know. Logitech should be beaten with a hammer. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll switch this build over to the Beta FPV board, and we'll have one rig with that like external kind of setup that's a little bit heavier. No, you can't. I don't want you to control the computer. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god, why? Why are you like this, Logitech? Good god. Go to hell. Alright. The app is opened. So yeah, back here, there's enough space for an external VTx on this build. It'll just sit right back here. And like, I don't love the idea of VH being a separate PCB, but it would be cool to have a build with the Beta AIO, and to have a rig with black box would be cool. That would help with like if there's a motor that's acting weird, like I can throw those motors on that rig and see if I can learn anything. So I'll probably do that. Plus I'm curious how that Beta FPV rig is, you know, if it falls apart and fails, that's a nice little data point to have of like, hey, mine didn't work well. I've had terrible luck in the past with Beta FPV AIOs, but that doesn't mean that their new ones aren't the greatest thing in the world. Pretty much all the racers run the new Beta FPV board with an external VTx. They do that mainly to get control over the output of the VTx, the output power of the VTx. These Happy Model boards, when you put them on 25 milliwatts, they output more than 25 milliwatts. So when you're racing with 3 other people, that's a problem because you're going to bleed over into their channel. So that's their reason. For us, for freestyle, it doesn't necessarily make much sense, because we typically fly alone. But yeah, it'd be cool to have a build with that setup. So we'll probably do that. Is that something you guys want to see? How about this? How about this? How about this? Is there a second gear fund? I thought there was a second gear. What the hell? Hold on. Let me copy and paste. Okay. So, how about this? This is something that BotGrinder used to do that we can maybe try. Turning this one off, and I'm going to change this to the BetaFPV 1S AIO fund. What's that AIO cost? Here's the thing that's going to be different. I didn't delete the other gear fund. I made a second layer. BetaFPV AIO 1S black box. Okay, it's $40. It's $40, and then we're gonna add 30%. So let's call it $45. Right. Here's the deal. We have to fill this up today during this live stream. If this is up, stop it. If this is up at 45 by the end of this live stream, I'll buy this. If not, I'll take the money and spend it on alcohol and no, I won't. I don't drink anymore, but I'll spend it on life. How's that sound? Let's start doing that. And you guys can suggest that. Like if we start a live stream and there's something that you want me to test or buy or build or whatever, as long as it's small, like if it's a separate component, right? Yeah. Make a suggestion. Yo, Ciotti, I want to see you test so-and-so. And then we'll do this. And if by the end of the live stream, we have enough to cover the item and shipping and the extra 30% that YouTube and Google steals, at the end of the live stream, I'll buy it. Cool? How's that sound? Is that fun? Is it? So there you go. Frank Nicholas says, check PayPal. Guess I'm buying it. Frank Nicholas sent $45 via PayPal. What's something else you guys want to test? Thank you, Frank. Let's get free shipping. What's something else you guys want to see me test? Oh, wait. Does Tinywhoop sell it? Hold on. Let's see if Tinywhoop sells it. Thank you so much, Frank. Frank just breaks the thing. It's like, hey guys, let's do this over the course of the live stream. For the next 2 hours, we'll do this. And Frank's like, nope. Frank's like, nope, I want to see it now. Thank you, dude. All right, hold on. Hold on. Flight controllers. Ah, they have it. All right, cool. So Tinywhoop has it. All right. Check it out. So we're going to get it from Tinywhoop. Oh, good. This is perfect. Here's the next thing. Hey, do you guys want to see me test these motors? If by the end of the live stream, all right, so these motors are $38.99. If by the end of the live stream, where's the gear fund at? Tinywhoop 0802 27K fund. There we go. So those are 39, call it $40. Let's say $55 if we get to $55 by the end of the live stream. And it looks like Metal super chatted 10. So we're going to put Metal's 10 super chat in here right now. And all right, there we go. We're back at it. Oh, now it's too big. Be smaller. There we go. All right, cool. So by the end of the live stream, if this is filled up, I'll also get a set of these 802 27,000s with the 1.5mm shaft. Frank, you son of a bitch. He did it again. Frank sent $55 via PayPal. Thank you, dude. Jesus. All right. Hold on. There was something else. I'll play this game all night. I don't give a shit. Another set of 802s. If you guys want to see me continue to beat the hell out of the 802s, oh look, and I just have to change a couple numbers. 702. I already have a set of these, but I've been kind of gentle on them because I don't want to destroy them. So there we go. If you guys want to see me get another set of the 702 32,000s to really pound on them, by the end of the live stream, if we fill this up, I'll put them on the Tinywhoop order. What do you think of that? Now what? Metadirtskin with a $10 super chat. He says, I got that board in my Odonata, but it could use the full CiottiFPV examination. Frank got it, but here's a little extra for a VT. Oh, I need a VTx. Right. For a VTx, I guess. Awesome. Thank you, Metal. Recyclops says motors with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much, homie. And then Northern Tier with a $30 super chat. He says, go for it. We're almost there. 40. We're 40 out of 55. Thank you so much, Frank, Metal, Recyclops, and Northern Tier. Cool. So we're getting some fun stuff in. What should I do for a VTx? Hold on, I might have one. I know I have one, but let's make sure that it's small enough. Who knows? Who knows what the smallest... hey, by the way, your guys' names are in color. Did you pick those colors? I haven't seen that. Justin says walk snail. No. I have not seen the ability to change or pick your color. Did it just randomly... Oh, God. Oh, that tastes awful. Did it just randomly assign you a color, or did you guys pick a color? So I've got an Immersion RC Tiny Tramp Nano, but this is kind of overkill for a Tinywhoop. I know what the VTx that a lot of the racers are running is the TBS Nano, the old school one, which I think is a little bit lighter than the Pro 32. I do have one remaining Ishin Nano, which has a mic on it. It's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit heavier because it has a mic on it, which is kind of silly. I'm not going to fly with a Tinywhoop with audio, so I'm not going to put this thing in either. I do have one of these. This is an old Ishin, like VTx03, but this might be too big. Let's see. This might be too big. Yeah, this is too big. So, who knows? I think I know the answer. But who knows what the smallest and lightest of the half-decent VTxs is? I have a feeling it's the TBS Nano. But does anybody specifically know? Eedok is the one to ask. Eedok, what's the VTx that everybody's running? Is it the TBS one? And are they running that just because they're all TBS dick riders, or is it because it really is the smallest and lightest? Mr. Huggy with a $15 PayPal. Thank you so much, brother. We are there on this gear fund. Good Lord, you guys are the best. And all right, cool. What do they cost? They're like, we're just gonna guess. We're gonna guess at $30. Hey guys, new thing that we're gonna do tonight. If at the end of the live stream this is filled up, I'll buy it. Jesus, guys, thank you so much. Ooh, Kevin Sumner says, I think Bob was recommending the Panda RC for the baby tooth. Panda RC. Kevin Sumner says, I have one of those Panda RC Nano VTxs if you need it. Do they have weights on it? Let's see. Jesus. Jesus, I can't type. No, I got it. RC VTx. Let's see. Oh, it's 20 by 20? Nah, no 20 by 20. We need tiny. We're gonna VHB it to the back of the AIO. This is gonna be way too big. Oh wait, no, it's, wow, that's 16 by 16? Jesus. It also has to be in stock somewhere, which is difficult. It looks like it's out of stock at Pyro, Get FPV, and FPV Cycle. Wait. Hold on. What am I doing? The order that I'm doing is from tinywhoop.com, so let's just shop their store. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Where are the VTxs at? Where are the white women at? All right, here we go. Don't get this. This beta FPV VTx notoriously sucks, for the record. Don't get it. Oh. Maybe we'll do this happy model, OVX 300. Let's open that up real quick, and let's see what else there is. Not a huge selection of VTxs over here on tinywhoop.com. Sold out. It might just be that one. Ooh, it's just no. Okay, so he has the Pro 32 Nano. Let's check weights. So this is the only one that's in stock. So I think we'll do this one. Ooh, God, Jesse, you are the best. 0.9 of a gram. Let's see if he did that. For the record, I absolutely love when Pyrodrone does that. Pyrodrone takes a picture of the item sitting on a scale, which is just the greatest thing ever. So here's the, this is the Pro 32. We don't need the Pro 32. I'm surprised that Jesse doesn't have the regular TBS VTx, or did I just miss it? I just missed it. I just completely missed it. Okay. Oh, look, it's heavier. 1.4 grams. Yeah, so we're going lightweight, baby. And I also hate supporting TBS because Trappy is kind of a bully and a jerk. So yeah, we're gonna go with this Happy Model OVX 300, 25 to 300. We're gonna run it at 25. But yeah, and it's got open VTx, which I don't really care about, but I know some people do. 0.9 of a gram. Look at us go. Anybody know anything about this? Is it good? It's probably just a copy. Let's see. Sometimes the Eachine stuff is literally a one-to-one copy. Which, like, I don't know, that's kind of scummy. In this case, it's not. It's kind of scummy, but welcome to China, yo. Okay. Now, we're going... Oh, wait, no, Eachine. This is Happy Model. This is a Happy Model VTx. Oh. Now, we're doing it, yo. We're doing it. We're staying lightweight. It's all about lightweight. Where did it go? There it is. Unless you guys tell me not to. Does anybody know anything about this Happy Model OVX 300? If it sucks the big one, let me know. But it probably sucks the big one. Ooh, Carclux. I was kind of wondering about that. Carclux says TBS is 1.4 grams with the antenna included. So let's weigh one of the antennas. Why am I doing this? They both look to be the exact same size, so they're gonna weigh the same. But just for the sake of it, I have one of these little antennas that the same thing is on the TBS. The antenna is 0.5 grams. Go figure. They weigh the exact same amount. They're the same size. They're probably roughly the same thickness. I'm still gonna get the Happy Model because I would rather support. Unbelievably, I would rather support them than TBS because nobody at Happy Model seems to be a jerk. So, sorry, but it's just the way it is. Let me get caught up on chat. Feel free if anybody has had one of these OVX 300s explode on them in 5 seconds. Let me know. But yeah, let's do it. Where was I at in chat here? Hold on. Benedictson says, I was thinking of putting the 1.5 millimeter shaft motors on the Odonata as well. June Loco says 1S woke snail. Yeah, I mean, this would need to be like $800 in order to do woke snail because I'd need to get the goggles and all that shit. I'm not doing the front module thing. It's I learned my lesson with the HD0 front module thing. It's just it makes the goggles completely uncomfortable. But Shameless FPV says, why not just accept that some people prefer to fly 75 and some people like 65? Mainly because in terms of flying in the house, 65 is so much easier to fly that you will be better, and basically, flying better feels better. It makes you happier, and 65 does that. You guys can do whatever the hell you want. I'm just a gangly maniac on the internet. The fact that I say that 65 is better than 75, you shouldn't really care about that all that much. Who am I? But the cold hard fact is that you will fly better with 65 inside the house, because inside the house is a very specific, very difficult spot to fly. So that's why I kind of push it. And what I've found in talking to people that like the 75s is that none of them have flown a 65 that has good power. And it is very easy to build a 65 that has good power. And my hunch is that pretty much all of those people that are hardcore 75ers, if they flew one of these 65s that I've built, they'd be like, oh. And if they could get over being wrong, they would come on to Team 65. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that I'm not. And I always offset it by saying, hey, if you're primarily flying outside, or if you're looking to do long range stuff, for sure the 75s. But for me, Tinywhoops are all about flying in the house. If you want to do that outside stuff, build a toothpick. That's going to fly way better. So yeah, I'm just sort of is what it is. But you do whatever you want, guys. I'm just some guy on the internet. Don't put so much stock in what I say. Unless you want to, then cool. Kevin Sumner says, maybe your new Patreon only channel will post updates about your frame. As soon as I have an update to post, I will absolutely post it. Ryan has been super busy with family stuff, so still waiting on the split base plate version of the frame. But yeah, this year, the frame is going to come out this year. I hope. Shameless says, Infinity Loops flies indoor freestyle better than almost anybody on a 75mm. Just saying. It's true. When you see him in the simulator and see how unbelievable he is in the simulator, it makes a lot of sense. He's just an absolute top tier, probably 20 best in the world pilot. If I had the money, I would build him one of these 65s and send it to him, and I bet you that he would switch over. Maybe not, but I think that he would. Yeah, what he can do with a 75 is even more impressive because it's a 75 and he's flying in a really small space. He's just that good. He is 1,000 times better than I am as a pilot. It's absurd how good he is. And yeah, the fact that he can do what he does with a rig that doesn't fly nearly as good or as accurately as these little bastards is that much more impressive. So yeah, that's what you're seeing there, in my opinion at least. Jason says, I went to triblades from BiBlades on a Whoop with 702 27,000s, and it started twitching and spazzing out, props and motor spin correctly. I turned the tune down, but no luck, I'm lost. Which BiBlades, Jason? If you're on the HQ BiBlades, that might be a part of the problem. Go to the Gemfan BiBlades. My hunch, though, is that you had Gemfan triblades on there, and you had some of the ones that fit really tightly on the motor shaft, and when you were probably struggling to remove them, I have a funny hunch that you might have bent the motor shafts. That wouldn't cause it to twitch. It would certainly cause it to spaz out if your definition of spazzing out is you arm it and it starts to fly away. Because there's more vibrations because the motor shafts are potentially bent. So yeah, that's my hunch. I don't have a lot to go on from your comment. I'm making a lot of assumptions and trying my best to read between the lines. So yeah, what you can do is go into the motors tab and move the sliders up to spin the motors very slowly, and just take your fingernail and put your fingernail against, I mean, you might as well pull the props off to do this, but technically you can do this with the props on. Put your fingernail against the side of the motor shaft, and while it's spinning slowly, and you'll feel if it's vibrating. When you put your fingernail against the side of the motor shaft, it should not be vibrating much. If it's vibrating a little tiny bit, that's fine, but if you can like really feel it in your fingernail, then you've bent the motor shafts. It's a very common thing, man. It's not just you. So yeah, that's my guess. I could totally be wrong. Tell me more, and we can continue to troubleshoot. RC Tom says, I need a whoop. I need a whoop for indoors, ready to fly with crossfire. Any suggestion? I don't think that exists, Tom. I don't think there are any whoops, period, on crossfire. Newbie Drone was talking about doing it a while ago, and then they didn't. So yeah, I don't think that exists. If you can find it, it's going to be the only one, and there you go. That makes the decision easy. But yeah, I don't think that exists, unfortunately. ELRS modules are pretty cheap though, and ELRS is really nice for Tinywhoops. I know that makes the whole situation a lot more expensive. Although I will say this: if you can find a Tinywhoop that's ready to fly and has crossfire, it's probably going to be $150, $160. You can buy a Mobula 6 ELRS for $100 and then spend the other $50 on an ELRS module, and you've got the best flying of the Tinywhoops on a control link that's pretty rad. So yeah, maybe go that route. Michael Blade says, what's up? John O'Connor says, what's the best low light camera VTx combo? We talking about Tinywhoops, John, or are we talking about in general? Tinywhoops, I haven't really noticed one camera being better low light than the others, other than the Caddx Ant doesn't seem to be a good low light camera. So like anything other than the Caddx Ant, which means Newbie Drone BI camera or Tinywhoop Pinch Cam or Runcam Nano 3. They're the three most popular ones. If you're talking if you're not talking about Tinywhoops, I'm a huge fan of the Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight. And then the VTx has nothing to do with it. The VTx just takes the signal coming from the camera and puts it into an antenna, basically. So yeah, low light has nothing to do with VTx. But my favorite of the little tiny VTxs is the Ishin Nano. It's really cheap and it just works scarily well. So there you go. If it's for a 5-inch rig, my favorite VTx you can't get anymore, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't know what to suggest actually nowadays for. The T-Motor 20x20 or the Rush Tank 20x20. Those are great VTxs, super simple, easy to mount. You can mount them with VHB. Yeah, there you go. Northern Tier says Quad 66 video is interesting. It is. He's a great pilot too. That's one of the other really awesome things about Quad 66 is not only is he technically super knowledgeable, but he's a very good pilot, and that's pretty rare. And that makes a big difference. Like easy for me to say because I've poured time into being a good pilot over the last 6+ years, but yeah, that is kind of important. If somebody's going to be reviewing gear and talking about if somebody's going to be reviewing gear and giving technical information, personally, I want them to be a half decent pilot. So keep that in mind. But also take that with a grain of salt. If they're like, this is going to sound terrible, but I don't know how else to say it. If you're not a good pilot, then if you get your review information from somebody that's not a good pilot, it kind of doesn't matter. Although I disagree with that, because a good pilot that's doing reviews is going to be able to recommend something that does fly better, and then by it flying better and you buying it, you're going to sort of be a better pilot. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave that there because that conversation can start to sound like I'm trashing on people pretty quickly, and I'm not. It's just a thing. I'm not going to call it a fact, but it's just a thing. So we'll leave it there. Scott Milano says, I've been flying the Happy Model Diamond F4 ELRS and just noticed that the antenna wire is directly over the gyro, and in a crash, this wire can start touching the gyro. That's not good. Move that antenna for sure. Scott says the flakiness of this AIO may just be issues with the antenna wire touching the gyro. It's not, Scott. The main issue with the Diamond F4 ELRS is durability, and it just has none. The other problem is you have to direct solder the motors, which is just insane. And a lot of them come out of the box with just in my opinion, the problem is electrical noise. They shrunk the board down so much they had to take capacitors off of it. On mine, I moved that antenna up so it was nowhere near the gyro, and mine still had all kinds of noise issues. So yeah, that is not a good thing. Like that, you should definitely fix that. I mean, you should never have the antennas running completely flat over the AIO. They should always be up at an angle. I overlook that because I just think that's kind of common sense, which it's not. But yeah, that's just a thing. But that was certainly not the issue with mine. I did not have the gyro set up or the antenna like that. Scott Milano with a super chat. Let me scroll down and check out the comment. June Loco tagged me. We got that. Mudderskin says, thinking of putting the... Oh, we got that. Ramdango says, the idea is good. Frank is also very kind. He certainly is. Recyclops says, hey, one of those two-tone dyed frames. No, Recyclops, it's not. This is a solid purple one. I missed out on the two-tone dyed frames, unfortunately. I'm hoping that Jesse does some more of those. I'm hoping that I can browbeat him into doing this purple on top here, and then red on the bottom to kind of match the motors. I think that would be super cool. When he first put up that image of the two-tone dyed frames, I looked through them, and there were none that like jumped out at me, and I don't remember what the hell was going on, but I was super busy at the time, and I was like, I'll check on it like later. I assumed that he would put them up on his website, and he didn't. And then by the time I did another order, I went and looked for them on the website, and they weren't there. I was like, shit. But yeah, I've been meaning to bug him. This purple it took him a while to get this purple kind of right. So yeah, I gotta bug him to see if I can convince him to do a two-tone purple and red. Ramdog, no, we got that. Eedok says the two VTx I was surprised by were the OVX 300 and the Reaper Nano VTx. What's the Reaper Nano? That sounds like Foxeer, right? Reaper Nano VTx. Look at that little fella. Who's got it? Pyrodrone has it. Let's take a look. Gee, thanks for the fucking 3D CAD file. Come on now. Looks pretty small. Weight less than 1 gram. I'm gonna go... since Tinywhoop has it, I'm gonna get the OVX, and we'll see how it is. If it doesn't work out, I'm gonna get this one. Oh, it's on the Tramp protocol. That's pretty cool. You guys know me. I'm a big fan of Tramps. Very cool. Very, very cool. I'm actually going to leave this... Oh, it's 25 bucks. That's a little pricey. I'm going to leave this opened so that I don't forget to get it. So I don't forget about it, I should say. Otherwise, I'll forget about it. Wait a second. In Eedok's chart, I bet you he has VTxs. Eedok, do you mind if I show this on the stream? I'm already showing it, so. Whooptopia typo. Can I change it for him? Nah. Whooptopia 2023 Fleet Survey. This is awesome. Eedok has done this a couple times. It's so cool. This is such cool info. How was your video during the event? Only had issues, one race. There we go, VTx. What VTx were you using? Oh, wait, no, VRX. Where's VTx? Where is VTx? Did you run an external VTx? Wow, 38.7% are not running an external VTx. I think all the really fast people are, though. Here we go. So 25.8% were flying the Unify Nano. Oh, the Pro 32, the big one. I thought, oh, here's the regular one. So the majority of the people were flying the Pro 32. I assumed that they would go with the regular Unify Nano because I think it's a little bit smaller. The Pro 32 is interesting because it goes up to 400 milliwatts, but you'll never really need that, arguably, with a Tinywhoop. Kind of nice to have it, though. 12.9% were flying that OVX 300. That's cool. 11.3 TBS Unify Nano. Mark 3 VTx. I don't even know what that is. BTfPV MO3. Foxier Reaper Nano. It looks like probably only one person was flying the Foxier Reaper Nano. Oh, somebody was flying HD0. That's pretty cool. And the iFlight Blitz, one person, 50 milliwatt. Interesting. I have had terrible luck with these TBS Unify Nano Pro 32s. I've had 2 fail on me, and I've heard from a bunch of you guys that they've not held up. So yeah, I'm gonna give this OVX a shot, and then we'll try that Foxier Reaper after that. Great job, Eedok. This is super cool. Wow, look how many people are on 96K PWM. That's surprising. Not surprising that the majority of the people are on 48, but I'm actually surprised so many people are on 96. Although, I guess I'm not surprised by that, because with racing, it's all about efficiency and power. 48K does better with freestyle because it's got better braking, so like throttle chop bobbles go away, but that doesn't really matter in racing. Well, it matters a little bit, but not nearly as much. So that's kind of cool. ESC firmware, most people are on Blue Jay. Wow, lots of people are on the Tinywhoop Pinch Standard. Wow, a lot of people are on the BI too. I gotta get a BI into onto a Mobula 6 AIO so I can see what the BI actually looks like, not going through the milky newbie drone setup. Foxier Pico Razor, run cam. Wow, nobody's on the Nano 3, 8.1%. Camera mount. Wow, everybody's on custom camera mounts. I'll be damned. Stinky. Yo, this is amazing. Great work. Eedok. Wait, if you're gonna look at this one. Jesus. Not many people running LEDs. Oh my god, half the people are still on angle mode. I thought angle mode was starting to go away. Acro without. Oh, look at that. And then 43.5% acro without crash recovery. Acro with crash recovery was just a couple of people. Interesting. I've been wondering about crash recovery lately. I don't know. Play around with it. A lot of Fat Shark HDO2s. Damn, man. This is awesome. Stick ends, look at you. Oh my god, man. What a fucking survey. My guy. That Eedok, he's doing God's work over there. Eedok, why were you surprised by the OVX 300 and the Reaper Nano VTx? Metadirton says, I vote for the Happy Model OVX. Frank Nicholas says, everyone except mods are black for me. Mods are blue. I've set no color nor seen the option. Interesting. Yeah, everybody's got crazy colors for me. I wonder if it means something. I wonder if the colors mean something, or if it's just randomly generating them to try to help me tell between people, maybe? Northern Tier says Bardwell said the same thing. Metadirton says, oh no, we got that. Veritas Huza says, that's interesting. Why didn't it tag me? Veritas Huza typed CiottiFPV and it didn't light it up in orange. That's a little weird. Maybe you guys have to use the @ symbol now. Do me a favor, look at this. I've never seen this before. Where the hell did it go? Look, that's supposed to be lit up in orange, but it's not. Somebody type CiottiFPV and then at CiottiFPV into the chat. Let's see if maybe you guys have to at me now. All right. Metadirtson says, also the HDLRC Zeus Nano has been okay so far. I had a bad experience with the HDLRC Zeus Nano. And HDLRC can just go to hell in general. I've just had so much trouble with HDLRC. I'm sorry if you haven't, but Jason Hollifield with a $5 PayPal. Thank you so much. Oh no, patron, new patron. Welcome to the Gangly Gang, Jason. If you'd like to join the Gangly Gang, it's the gang of Ganglies. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com, hit the Patreon button, and join my Patreon. It's as little as $3 a month. That's 10 cents a day. If you're into FPV, I know you got 10 extra cents a day. Buy one less set of props and support a gangly guy that'll tell you that those props suck, and then I'll save you those $3. Over on CiottiFPV.com or a bunch of other ways you can support me if you're anti-Patreon for some reason. Affiliate links, Etsy store, Fiverr page where you can work directly with me one-on-one. The Etsy store has a bunch of stickers. There's a Teespring store with like fun t-shirts and whatnot. Shirt of the day is by Say Andrea. I am indeed soft mounted as always. Yeah. All of your life needs will be fulfilled over at CiottiFPV.com. And hey, the sticker packs are back for $10. PayPal me $10, send me your address, and tell me which of these 2 sticker packs you want. There's the glossy holographic pack. It's a holographic CiottiFPV sticker. It's a holographic Gangly Gang sticker. And then it's a Micro King window cling. You could put this on the inside or the outside of a window. That's the glossy holographic pack. And then there's also the matte pack. And the matte pack is a matte CiottiFPV logo, a matte Gangly Gang sticker, and a matte Micro King sticker. They don't make matte window clings. So yeah, $10, PayPal me your address, tell me which sticker pack you want, and I'll send you a bunch of stickers, and your life will become 14% better, I promise. Mr. Huggy says, check PayPal. Good to go on that one. Kevin, thanks again, brother. Kevin Sumner says, I think Bob was, we got that. YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up. Oh, wow, I'm super behind. All right, gonna go fast. If I can find where I was. Come on, YouTube. Help me out here. There we go. Northern Tier says, I have a tiny beta FPV VTx, 350 milliwatts I'm not using. Ordered a while back, brand new cam, send pic on Discord. Why did that happen? Eedok says, show it away. All right, cool. I did not get the picture on Discord, unless it's in Livestream Live. Nope, I don't see it. I don't see it. I might be just broken. Eedok says, I think TBS's stranglehold is just because they've been around the longest. Yep. They tend to boot the fastest for team racing. Think things will shift soon. They tend to boot the fastest. Boot, like plug power in. Oh, interesting. For team racing. Wow, I never thought of that. Oh my God, right. You know, I didn't realize that was a thing. So in case you don't know, I didn't know it was called team racing either. On the Whooptopia coverage, I noticed there is, it's like relay races. Not relay. Yeah, like relay races. So one person flies a battery and flies a bunch of laps, and then they come in, unplug, somebody else plugs in, another member on their team plugs in, and then they fly a bunch. And then they come in when their battery's done, and blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, the boot time of the VTx makes a huge difference there. That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, the Mobula 6s boot very slow. You plug them in, and they give you video for a second, and then it goes to static for like another couple of seconds, and then it comes back. So they would not work well for that team racing. Interesting. The TBS Nano boots faster. What world is this? That's really cool. That's really, really, really cool. Frank Nicholas says, confirm weights include/don't include antennas. TBS looks like it does. Makes a lot of sense. Mr. Eggy says, I have 2 of those Happy Model VTxs. Do you like them? Are they okay? Metal Dirtson says, I got the OVX 303. It's bigger cousin on some rigs. So far, so good. Also, I think they use OpenVTX reference design and not a copy of anything. That's slick. Oh, that's interesting. Eedok says, TBS VTx has camera power pads on it. That's cool. That's cool. Dingle says, only thing that sucks about the OVX 300 is the solder pads are the smallest. I'm okay with that. Is Eedok, is the TBS VTx the only one that has camera power pads on it? I'm now realizing that I'm gonna, with this build, I'm gonna need to power the, I mean, technically I could power the camera off the AIO, but I'm not gonna do that. That's interesting. Hello? Hello? Who's that? Somebody's walking up the stairs. Carluck says, I've only flown 75 millimeters. It's fine in the house, but I'm about to build a 65 to see the difference because of you. Sounds good. You're in for a surprise, Carlux. Freshagan says, I still fly the 75 inside, though I shouldn't. It's a bit tougher when crashing into picture frames and shit. That is a big reason. That is another big reason that I prefer these 65s inside. I just, I have some nice stuff, and like I've broken some stuff with the 65. So the last thing I'm gonna do is tack 5 more grams on and go banging into more glass stuff, So yeah, that's another big kind of nice thing about the smaller rigs. And like, I want to fly hard inside, right? Like I don't want to be flying inside like, ooh God, like don't crash into this, don't break the fucking whatever. So yeah, anything that you can do to like free yourself up to fly really hard inside, you're gonna have more fun. That's what it's all about. Jason says no other way. Went from Gemfan biblades to Gemfan triblades. Jason, check to see if you bent the motor shafts. I have a feeling that you might have. Let me know. Shameless FPV says, Infinity Loops has tried all kinds of 65mm, 30,000 kV setups. He said they were too twitchy and 75 is smoother, and I get what he means there. Interesting. I thought he stopped at 25,000 kV on the 65mm rigs. I did not realize that that he made it up to 30,000 kV. Interesting. So he thinks they're too twitchy. Huh. What's interesting about that is that because of I'm such like a cinematic nerd, I have a significant amount of stick smoothing built into Betaflight. So like I would, and this goes for like my freestyle rigs too, like everything I fly is like as lightweight as humanly possible, within reason. Like it also has to be durable. But forever, I have built lightweight and twitchy, and then I have, in Betaflight, added the appropriate amount of stick smoothing so that, like, I can tailor it to myself. Like, a lot of these guys that fly 750, 800, 850 gram 5-inch freestyle rigs, that's one of their arguments, is like, no, it's smoother and it's slower to respond, and I think that looks better. And I'm like, well, you can do that in Betaflight, and then you can like change it, right? Like if you build really heavy and you fly really heavy, you can't go the other way. Like you're stuck all the way over here. So I wonder if I didn't do that, if I didn't have all that stick smoothing, I wonder if I would think 65 is too twitchy too. I still think it's a better idea to build light, build twitchy, and then if you want it smoother, you just, and you're done. It's very easy to do. It's jitter reduction, and then it's, let me actually show you guys, because it's it's why it's why my flight footage looks the way that it does, if I'm completely honest. Like, yes, I've spent a lot of time over the years learning to fly really smooth, but I am anybody that has flown, and I don't use stabilization, I don't use, you know, in my freestyle stuff and the cinematic stuff I do. But yeah, people that have been in the goggles with me, they've gotten to see that I'm not quite as smooth as what the freestyle footage that I post online kind of shows. I'm still really smooth because I've focused on that and I've spent a lot of time trying to do that. But this definitely helps. This definitely takes a little bit of the edginess off. So right here, this jitter reduction at a value of 15, that's pretty high. It's usually quite a bit lower than that. So I run the jitter reduction up at 15, which adds some stick smoothing within feed forward, basically. I typically run my feed forward pretty low on these Tinywhoops. I mean, it is kind of low. It's at a lot of people run it much higher than this, but I run the feed forward down at 0.8. With Tinywhoops, everything's happening so fast that I do tend to run a little bit more on everything other than Tinywhoops. I run this stick response slider down at like 0.5 or 1.0, basically no feed forward, and that does a lot of stick smoothing. The other thing to add stick smoothing is this RC smoothing. And technically speaking, this is the best way to add stick smoothing. But it's, I don't know. Yeah, this is a pretty aggressive amount of stick smoothing here. But I run this number even higher on a lot of my other rigs. I run this up at like 150 or even 200. Once you get over... It's adding delay. I don't talk about it a lot because it does add delay, and you do have to get used to it. But you will get used to it, and it's not much delay. And the thing to remember about stick smoothing is, like, it doesn't add delay and latency in the same way that filtering does. Filtering, like when you push, if you have tons of filtering, you're gonna push the stick and nothing's gonna happen. And then it's going to make and then it's going to start to move. I don't like that latency. Stick smoothing latency, you're going to push the stick, it's going to start to react, but then it's going to slowly catch up with the set point. So with stick smoothing, the way that I add it, when you jam the stick over, you at least get a little bit of a reaction as soon as possible, as long as your filtering is like relatively low. So yeah, it's different than like latency. You need to understand that, because a lot of times when you need to make that little motion, like it's just a little bit of a motion that you need. So I don't find that the adding as much stick smoothing as I do makes the rig like unflyable. Yes, if you're gonna do a full snap roll, it does more gently accelerate into that like full roll that you're gonna do, but I really like the way that looks. So yeah, try it out. Stick smoothing is a really cool thing. You're gonna just look like it just instantly makes you look like a better pilot than you are. When you do like these little like when you're approaching a gap and you're like making these subtle little corrections, instead of them being so twitchy and noticeable, it just becomes like a little bit of like it almost looks like a wobble. It almost looks like it's riding like a little dirty air. I don't know. I just really like the way it looks, and it's not adding a significant amount of delay. I have every once in a while I'll kind of check myself and I'll turn those numbers way the hell down to get rid of it, and I'll fly a little bit. And like, yes, it's more twitchy and there's a little bit more. It's a little bit more like on the sticks, but I just don't like the way it looks. I just really don't. So yeah. Thank you for letting me know that. Oh wait, no, it was who was it? Shameless. Thank you for letting me know that that Heads has been up to 30,000 kV, because that's a silly assumption that I just made. Kevin Sumner just dropped a couple of screenshots in the Livestream Live channel over on Discord with Ciotti smoothness settings. Livestream Live is a Patreon only text channel over on Discord, you're going to have to give me 10 whole cents a day to get on there. But I promise you that for 10 cents a day, you're going to dig the other things that you're going to get. Access to a couple of Facebook groups, full Discord access. One of the cool things about full Discord access is you get to rent out from me a box with every single stick end that is currently available and in stock on the internet. And yeah, that's pretty cool, because looking at a picture of a stick end doesn't tell you anything about it. You don't know if your finger's going to like it, your brain's going to like it, or if it's going to even work on your transmitter. So yeah, you can rent this out from me if you're a patron. You're also going to get access to a big-ass YouTube playlist with like 80 some or 90 some odd Patreon-only live streams, half-done edits, sketchy flying that I don't want to be public. There's a whole bunch of tech articles on the Discord channel. It's well worth 10 cents a day, I promise. And you get the satisfaction of helping a gangly bastard follow his dreams of not going back into a corporate office, because that shit makes me want to jump off a building, which I almost did. Michael D says, hello, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang, just jumping in. What did I miss? All kinds of stuff. Shameless says, for the record, I'm not arguing for the sake of it. 65 probably is easier for most people. Just don't like to hear X is better than Y, if that's just an opinion. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being me. Like, I try my best to always, like, say, like, hey, this is just my opinion, but it gets kind of annoying. And so, yeah, I assume that you guys understand that, but I guess I should be better about it. I'll try my best. I'll try better, I should say. Stavel says, any thoughts on why the BLV4 runs better than my Mobula 6? Both stock tunes for now. Mobula wants to fly away. Is the Newbie Drone stock tune better? Man, there's a lot of things that are different between those two. The PID tunes are completely... Well, both... Yeah, the stock tunes are completely different. The filtering is completely different. The gyros are also different, Stavel. So, yeah, there's too many variables between those two to really, like, accurately compare them. What I will say, though, is that once I had fully upgraded my BLV4 to where the Mobulas are, I was not able to get the stock tune or the flight performance anywhere near as good as the Mobulas. So I have a hunch that there's something going on with your Mobula, bent motor shaft, something touching the gyro, or maybe the gyro is just shit the bed. The Happy model is, the least expensive and thus the worst when it comes to quality control and just quality in general. It's kind of the game that we play. But if you get a good one, if you get a good Mobula 6 board, in my experience, you're going to be able to get much better flight performance rather. Kevin Sumner says, you doing Rampage this year? I hope so. I can't afford to pay to go to Rampage as just to have fun. So hopefully Stacy will let me run. Give me tickets for free and let me work the event by setting up and running Micro Mayhem. Fingers crossed. If I don't, I think it's another at least a few months away. I heard May. Yeah, so we got a bunch of months. At some point here, I will reach out to Stacy and say, hey, looking for a volunteer to run Micro Mayhem again this year? And hopefully she says yes. If the answer is no and there's no other volunteering spots, I won't be going. It's just kind of too expensive. But yeah, I can't imagine that they won't want to do Micro Mayhem again, because it was more popular last year than the year before. And it doesn't really cost them all that much, right? They just have to let another person show up and let me eat a little bit of the food that's there, and that's it, right? So it's pretty inexpensive for them to let me come do it. So Shinley says, and yeah, Infinity Loops is insane. It's true. Stavel says, any thoughts on why the BLV... Oh, no, we got that. Kevin Summers, we got that. Brandon McBean says, I like Quad 6.6. He's a cool guy for sure. Scott Milano with a $10 super chat. He says, thanks. Thank you, brother. That is going to go, since we're doing this little thing tonight, we're going to go here. And then Buried Alive with a $9.90 super chat. He says, my new favorite channel. Love the live chat. Thank you, brother. I do too. but I'm kind of biased. We are a little bit close. No, it's not. It's not. Hold on. It's not the TBS. It's the HMOVX 33, I think it's called. There we go. There we go. All right. See what happens, Larry? 16-bit FPV says, do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? Veritas Who's says, forget about beating the hell out of 0802's. How much to beat the hell out of my FPV drone hating neighbor? That sucks, Veritas. It really does. I'm very lucky that the neighbors here have been super cool. Yeah. Veritas, is that you that had to go to court for it? Forgive me if I forget who that was. Buried Alive says, can rob my wrecked Cinnabot 30 for its AIO flight controller for my toothpick build. Very cool. What the hell happened to it though? How did it get wrecked? The Cinnabot, that's one of the cinematic pusher rigs. They're pretty specific. I mean, like, if you have subjects to fly around, those are very fun to fly. If you don't, the key to those rigs is like an interesting subject or a really interesting location. Other than that, though, and I know a lot of people like just kind of jumped on the hype train with them. Other than that, tearing it down to build a toothpick is probably a really good idea. Ramdago says, and now I've had time to think equals what is the popular VRX? It looked like it was just HDO2s from there. Oh, wait, no. Right. I'm sure that it's either the Rapid Fire or the TBS Fusion. Eedok says OVX and Reaper Nano performed almost the same as the TBS Pro 32, despite being like half the cost. Yeah, that's my other problem with the TBS VTx is that it's just absurdly expensive, and like couple extra dollars, like I can get that, but it's twice the cost, and like it's absolutely not twice as good, and you know Kevin Summers says, CiottiFPV this orange. Okay, so we're good. I am starting to get caught up on chat. Jesus. That's super weird, yo. So it is showing up in orange. That was really weird. Somebody typed CiottiFPV and it didn't light up in orange. That's I don't know. Interesting. And it looks like Northern Tier typed it in lowercase, as did Pedro Tome. Thanks, guys, for helping me try to figure that out. I don't understand. That was weird. ATEC FPV says, can that stat sheet be shared here? ATEC, that is up to Eedok. That is his sheet. He dropped it over on my Discord. Or no, he private messaged it to, or just messaged it to me on Discord. Yeah, Eedok, if you want to put it up in the Discord, cool. If not, I understand. But yeah, it's not mine to share, so I'm not going to. Daniel 1964 says, how do I get the VTx configured for the Mobula 6 in Betaflight? So it comes configured. Did you like wipe it out or something like that, Daniel? Yeah, it comes ready to go. You just go into VTx table, pick your channel, or you can do that in the OSD. Oh boy, YouTube just did the thing again. Come on. Barry Alive says you have to. Forget what we were talking about, Barry. Tag me again. Stavel says, when are you going to update the Etsy store for us anti-PayPal? I didn't realize there were anti-PayPal folks. I will do it at some point. I didn't know. I was just going to rely on you guys to PayPal me for them because I'm lazy. But I will put them on there. There's some other stuff that I need to get up on the Etsy store too. So that's kind of a good idea. Let me, I'm going to take a couple of these out to remind myself. And I have a whole bunch of M3 stuff that I've been meaning to put up on PayPal, and I've been on the Etsy store. And I've been, I don't get many Etsy orders, so I kind of like forget about it, if I'm honest. But now that I know that there are people that want to do orders on Etsy, I will update it because it doesn't take that much time. Let me look at all this stuff. I made bags of it. This is all the stuff that I need to take pictures of and make listings of for on Etsy. Tons of M3 hardware, M3x7, M3x20, M3x9, probably like M3x14, probably all the different sizes of M3 hardware. So that'll be up there. I'm gonna leave this out here. Here's a bunch more M2 hardware. I already have a ton of M2 hardware up on the Etsy store, but maybe these are different sizes that aren't up there. And then I don't know if I'm gonna put these up there. These are a whole bunch of extra wiring harnesses. This is actually a bag that I made because I want to try to organize these. Man, is it a bitch to organize these. And then here's a bunch of little camera controllers that I'm going to take a couple pictures of and throw up there as well. So yeah, I'll get that updated. Thank you for letting me know that. With how few Etsy orders come in, I was just kind of like, well, I'm not going to spend any time on it. The way that I kind of do things is that, like, when I just kind of wait for stuff to like, if there were a bunch of Etsy orders coming in, I would be spending time on there and I would be like more actively updating it and adding stuff to it. But yeah, there weren't. So like I do that with a lot of stuff. Like if I see a bunch of action on Fiverr, I'll spend more time kind of talking about it and whatnot. But yeah, probably not the best way to do things. It's more of like a reactive way of doing things, which is probably not a great idea. But alas, I do all kinds of things that aren't great ideas. Huff19 says PayPal sent, must have more stickers. Nice, thank you, brother. I got it. And I'm gonna leave it on red because I gotta do it later. And then looks like Paul Dion is doing some stickers as well. Cool, I'm gonna mark that on red as well. Thank you guys. Oh, look at that. Shorts ad revenue starts today. The beginning of the end of good quality long form content on YouTube. Oh no. No. Whatever. Nothing I can do about it. Wait. Hold on. Let me make sure that you guys told me which sticker packs you want. Matt, sticker pack. Huff. No, Huff, you're on Patreon, so I can get your address off Patreon. And then, oh boy, what was that? Did that just delete? No, don't delete. Mark is on red. There we go. And then Paul Dion, glossy. Okay, and then there's your address. Awesome. Thanks, fellas. Gamma Gonad says, I'm pretty sure. All right, stop asking good questions, people. We gotta do what this stream is about. Gamma Gonad says, I'm pretty sure the Eachine Nano V1 has camera power. That and the TBS Pro 32 are most of what I use. I also have the Rush. I also use the Rush Nano some. I don't have any more of the Eachine Nano V1s. We'll see if the OVX has camera power. I hope it does. Veritas Weasel says, being held hostage, please send drones, batteries, and snacks. Northern Tier says, pick on live stream Discord. Recyclops says, do you have a video showing your typical Betaflight PID setup? I do not, Recyclops, mainly because I don't want people that are building like a wacky or like a noisy rig to use that and then have something bad happen. Not to mention that at this point with Betaflight 4.3, the stock PIDs work on most stuff. So I would really rather people run it stock and then come to the live stream and ask some questions so that we can kind of custom tune it than to just like put out a video like, hey, here's my settings, and then people use them and don't have a good experience. But yeah, the long and short of it though is that nowadays the stock PIDs are just awesome. And unless you're selling your footage, stock PIDs that are not so cranked up are kind of better because you're going to be able to beat your rig up more. When you start cranking the PIDs up, you end up with more of like a race car in the red. You got a rig that you can't crash as hard because the PIDs are jacked up. So, and for you know, folks that are working, like flying FPV as a job, that it makes sense to have cranked up PIDs so the footage looks better, but most people aren't. So yeah. Chase says, what's going on? Just got finished ripping a little 2-inch built yesterday night. Very cool. Shameless says, stick smoothing is interesting. I was running Emu Flight on everything up to this year. There's a really cool smoothing feature, dynamic rates, back on Betaflight now, so we'll check it. Gamma Gonad says, Rush Nano, Ishi Nano, TBS Pro 33 all have cam power. Very cool. Rush Nano, Ishi Nano, TBS Pro 32. So I guess the OVX doesn't. That's interesting. That's kind of annoying, to be honest. I really prefer to power cameras off of VTxs because it tends to be a little bit less noisy that way. But it's not a deal breaker. Foxy or Reaper looks like it has cam power, because it's got 6 pads down here. Video ground, 5 volt. Yeah, see, 5 volt out and a second ground. Maybe I'll get the Foxy or Reaper. Maybe I'll get the Foxy or Reaper. Man, $25 though. I'm gonna get this one because it's $12, and at some point I'm gonna get this Foxy or Reaper. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Chase says, I've snapped one of my ceramic antennas off external RX and doesn't look the same as the ELRS 1S board you did the replacement on. Is there something to show where to solder the wire? Chase, there's only 4 pads, so just put it on one pad, fire it up, see how you, like, put it on the other side of the room, and you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell by the RSSI getting really low. And then put it on another pad. Yeah, you got 25% chance of the first shot you'll get it right. 33% chance you'll get it right on the second shot. And 50% chance you get it right on the third shot. You'll know. It's really obvious when you have no antenna versus a little piece of wire. Jason Crabtree says, what's the TBS VTx for? Never mind. Miguel, it's for, yeah, I'm going to switch the AIO on the Tinywhoop rig with the pinch cam. Miguel T with a $10 super chat. He says, Car Not Here Too. Do you follow Jason Camisa? I do. My favorite journalist. Love his podcast, Carmudgeon Show. Him and his co-host are both car encyclopedias. You should check them out. Camisa is great. I love the work that he does with Haggerty and the other outfit that he works with on YouTube. It's Haggerty and there's another one. Yeah, he's a great guy. Thank you for the support. The OVM fund is good to go. Thank you, fellas. We're doing a Tinywhoop order at the end of the stream tonight. Gamma Gonad says, it was me. I had to do over 1.5 years of back and forth court. That's right, it was Gamma. That sucks. There's 2 of you guys that have neighbors that hate drones, although it's more than 2. Michael D says, I was browsing Newbie Drone and saw 0804 Newbie Drone flow motors. Have you seen them yet? Only a 1mm shaft. Yeah, I saw when they announced them a couple of months ago, and when I saw that there was a 1mm shaft, I was like, nope. Nope. Gamma Gonad says, in the Invictory, not an FPV criminal anymore, were you able to break even? Were you able to get court and attorney fees back from them? I remember that. I remember when you won, and then you were like, next step is to try to sue them for the amount of money that you spent. I hope to hell that you have been able to do that. Eva FPV is in the house. Just got home from maintaining the lifter. Definitely needs a tune, but no signs of desyncs or anything. Thing is a beast. Very cool. Eva FPV bought, I think she's got the most expensive lifter in the world at this point. It's like all the best stuff. I had no idea that frame is $800. It's the new Shendrone's lifter frame, and it's gorgeous, but good lord. Daniel says, when I plug in the Mob 6 and go to video transmitter, it's blank and says VTx not configured or supported. All right, so I guess the I guess it got wiped. I guess you reinstalled system software or something. So go to Happy Model, search for Happy Model Mobula VTx table, and you're gonna get a bunch of different results. Okay. Let's see here. Betaflight VTx table. VTx 4.1. I think it'll still work. Oh, look at the reactive snowflakes up here. I think that this will work. So if you click this top, I think if you on a Mac, you're gonna like command click it. No, is it option click? No, is it control click? It's why won't you open? I refuse to open. This should work though. Let me see what those other links were that opened up. No. It's probably in here, but GitHub is infinitely confusing. Still $7,000 in the hole. Jesus Christ. Haven't found a good civil lawyer at court system is after. Yeah, it really is. I'm glad that you're doing that though, man. That's awesome. Okay, hold on. I think I have you covered. I have it somewhere. It's a Mobula 6, you said, right? Here it is. All right, so here it is. Drop this into your CLI, and it should fix it. As long as it's a Mobula 6 ELRS, this will fix it. I'm going to put this over here in the Discord into Toothpick and Whoop, and I'm just going to dump it like that. And now you can just copy that and paste it into your CLI, and it should be good. As long as it's a Mobula 6 ELRS, this is going to work. If it's something different, let me know. Buried Alive joined Patreon on your birthday. Glad to be here. Awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much. Veritas says, went to court because of my drone hitting neighbors. You hit them? Like their physical bodies? But I didn't get convicted because they never found their bodies. I'm sure I had nothing to it. See what you did there. Kevin Sumner says, someone was asking how to knock a drone out of the air on Reddit the other night. Implication was to shoot it out of the air. Yeah. Great. Go right ahead. That is a federal offense. Not federal. That is a criminal offense. It is a criminal offense to shoot a drone out of the air because for two reasons. A, because you're shooting an aircraft out of the air and that ain't allowed. B, you're shooting a firearm into the air. And when the lead goes up, it then has to come down. And if it comes down in someone's face, you just murdered someone. So yeah, go right ahead. Shoot all the drones out of the air you want. Your ass is going to jail. Good luck with that. There's a bunch of YouTube videos about that. Michael D says, let's check out the replacement BLV4 and see if it has the OSD issue. We're getting to it. Dub Squared, I'm gonna go really fast because we got to do that. Dub Squared says you probably need to set up the VTx on the ports page first before loading the VTx table. That's true. I'm assuming that was done. Gamagonad says, we got that. Kyle Skinner says, have you tried out the test version of Betaflight 4.4? It includes angle mode, feed forward, earth referencing, yaw inputs. I've not. I'm so happy with Betaflight 4.3 that I'm going to wait for the stable version of 4.4. I don't care. I don't use angle mode at all. That's cool that there's angle mode, feed forward, but I'm not going to use that at all. Earth referencing, yaw inputs. That's interesting. I don't know what that means, but that sounds interesting. Eva says, not the most expensive. Really? Oh my God. QAV frame is more, but yeah, go with bets. It makes sense. Good Lord, the QAV frame is more than that? What the hell? Stavel with a $5 super chat. He says, Squirrel, fly the BLV4. Deal. Kevin Sumner says, you were right originally. It is federal. A federal felony. Oh, right, because the FAA. Right. It is federal. Fucking, you will go to federal pound bee in the ass prison. Here we go. Let's do the thing that's in the stream title. This is going to be a longer one tonight here, friends. I hope you're not doing anything at 8 o'clock because I'm going to try these HQ prototype props tonight for absolute certain. Okay, so if you followed along parts 1, 2, and 3 of the Bee Drone BLV4 saga, in the end, I was unable to get this BLV4 to connect to ESCconfigurator.com or the other version of ESCconfigurator.com or BLHeli for some reason. But I talked to some other people and they did not have that problem. Also, my OSD was a hot mess. It was flaking in and out. It was turning off. It was becoming invisible. It was just like it just basically didn't have OSD. It was off more than it was on. And like I was over discharging batteries because of it. It was a real mess. So I talked to Kelvin over at Bee Drone, and he offered to send me another. They sent me this bind and fly for nothing. So I mean, huge shout out to them. You know, they know that I'm hard on gear. They know that I'm dead honest all the time. So shout out to them for having the confidence in their gear to send it to me. A lot of manufacturers don't. Most of them, it's because they just don't know who I am. Everything okay? Yeah. Something fell upstairs. Yeah, shout out to them for sending this other one. And they also sent me a return label to send this AIO back to them because they want to like tear it apart and see what the hell's going on with it. So yeah, never let it be said that Bee Drone's not an awesome company. They really are. They focus on newer pilots, thus the name Bee Drone. So for us, you know, folks that have been in the hobby forever, wait, this is not the BLV4. I didn't need to do this. The BLV4 is in. Where is it? Where did it go? I kind of want to put it in this frame though. This. Wait, where is it? Where did it go? What did I do with it? Did I put it back in the box? Is it on the shelf? Where did it go? What did I do with the the BLV4 rig? I did some like midnight building last week, and I moved some AIOs around. What? Where is it? This is a BLV3 that I've put an EP2 on. What the hell? Hold on. It can't be far. The basement's not very big. Pretty sure I didn't do anything rash, like throw it away in a rage. What? Where is it? Where did I put it? Here's the bag that I disassembled that and put the other things in. Man, this is getting... I gotta do a little organization over here. This is getting a little nuts. This little Tinywhoop area is getting a little sloppy. So this is... So I tore apart the one tiny lifter, and I pulled that AIO out of it. And then... I kind of need... I mean, technically I don't need it, but it would be nice to have it because I can do a diff. And it'll save me some time here. What did I do with it? Ooh, this is weird. Did I put it down here? I didn't send it to one of you guys, did I? What? did I put it back in the little box? What would I then have done with the little box? Put it over here, maybe? Weird. I thought I saw the purple frame, and I just assumed that I had left it in there. Wait, no, it was so it was in this frame because this has the 0702 30,000s that I changed the plugs on. But after that part 3 live stream, I took it apart, and I thought I put it in this little build bag that I was putting together, but apparently not. So let's see. It's got to be in this box. I mean, like I said, I don't technically need it, but it would be really nice to have it. It also has a BT 2.0 lead on there that's cut to the perfect length, so it would be nice to just yoink that off and swap it over. Put it in one of these cases. I didn't send it back yet, Stavel. That box over there has the return label for it. In order to send it back, I wanted to do this live stream first. Okay, this is getting weird. Getting a little weird. So this is the tiny lifter that I tore apart. It's not over there on the shelf. Not here. Did it fall down back behind? I have been crashing Tinywhoops over here. It might have fallen down back behind. Let me check that. Those are the 0802 motors, 603 motors. Okay, so it's not. I know it's not in here. Process of elimination. We're gonna find it. This is confusing. Bueller? Oh, here it is. Jesus! It was right in front of me. Yeah, there we go. That's embarrassing. It was right here. It was staring right at me. Okay, cool. Good. Alright, so. My God. Kevin Summers says, Office Space, got your jumps and conclusions, Matt? Have you got enough flare? Abraham says, the earth referencing yaw means that when you give yaw input, the quad rotates around the vertical relative to the earth. So like a combo of roll and yaw. Silverware has done this forever. So it just mixes roll with yaw. So it's just stick coordination. You've been able to do that with the FPV camera angle in the configurator, but apparently it didn't work all that well. Veritas says shooting drone out of the air is federal offense because you're shooting at an aircraft, and if the drone is $1,000 or more, there's also another felony charge. Good lord. Northern Tier says, how'd you like the BLV3 with the EP2? Think about trying it. Got a new one in a box. Set a decent horsepower on it. 32 is on the way. 2S. Yeah, the V3, the BLV3 with the EP2 is the setup on all of the tiny lifters, and it's great. It's a little bit heavier for no real reason, but it's a nice little combo. I did this little build just because I had it, but this doesn't really make much sense. And now that I've kind of taken this apart, I'm going to take it the rest of the way apart. I flew this rig a couple of streams ago to just kind of give you guys an idea of what a heavy 65 mil rig looks like compared to the Mobula 6s. And yeah, it's just heavy, and it's hard to fly the heavier setup. So yeah, nothing wrong with it, but it's just a little heavy. This little setup is 2S. If you're going to do the 2S thing, this is kind of the best that I've found to kind of keep the weight down. So what are we going to put this rig that we're doing tonight on? Are we going to go full bananas and Yeah, let's go full bananas and build it as lightweight as we can with the lightweight canopy, so that it's the fully we will return to the fully upgraded BLV4 and give it the best chance possible at flying really good, so that I can compare it to the way the Mobula 6s fly. This is the AIO that's having the problems. This is the fresh one that they sent me. I am going to... I'm not going to put all the custom OSD stuff on it. I'm going to leave the OSD alone. We're going to see if, by leaving the OSD alone, it doesn't flicker and drop out. And then I'll put my preferred OSD setup on it, and we'll see if there's any kind of change. I meant to do that on the other one, but I just didn't. So this guy is going back, but we're going to keep it around for the moment. I'm going to remove the antennas from it, and the BT 2.0 from it as well. So let's take care of that first. Okay, antennas are off of it. Ground is out by the edge of the board. So I'm going to try to do this with the other little camera here again, just so that you guys can have a better view of what the hell I'm up to. So let's get that going. All right, little fella. Time for you to focus. You focus while I focus. Okay. Right, let me put a little angle on it so that you guys get a little bit of light here. All right, cool. So this is going to be removing just this BT 2.0 lead here. Flux paste is your friend. We're going to put a little tiny bit of it on each one of those connection points. Flux is going to transfer the heat much quicker. It is kind of the dirty little secret of people that have been soldering for a long time. If you're not using flux, you're just making your life more difficult for no real reason. Use flux. So let's get this going here. Ground is on the outside. I just need to remember that for when I reinstall. This is the ground, which is going to take another split second to kind of heat up. I've got my iron pretty hot at 700 degrees. If you're quick, 700 degrees works. If you're new, on small components like this, you might want to use a lower temperature. 700 is also a nice kind of middle ground temperature where I don't have to change it, which I like. So there we go, off of that one. Now on this fresh one, we are going to remove all these antennas just so that we're not melting wires for no reason. And then we're going to have to remove the dirty PH 2.0 one. And then we're going to swap on the BT 2.0. So I'm actually going to leave this bottom antenna. I'm just going to swing it down out of the way here. All right, cool. So same deal. Put it up here. All right, and a little bit of flux. What's cool too is like once you flux, like I'm putting flux on here right now, it's not all gonna burn off, and it's gonna kind of stick to these pads. So I'm not gonna have to reflux this. You'll see I'm gonna take this PH 2.0 connector off, and then I'm gonna put the BT 2.0 right back on there because there will be some flux left over. So we'll do the ground first. All right, and then here's the voltage. And now we've got our BT 2.0 connector. I typically like to do the first one by hand, and then the second one I'll do usually with the tweezers, but you do you. All right. And now what I'm trying to do is get the silicone I'm actually going to do both of these by hand. I'm trying to get the silicone to butt right up against the PCB. That way you don't have a big area of exposed wire that's going to try to bend and break. Not a requirement, but it looks better, and I really do think that it kind of performs better when you do that. And I did not do the best job of that with the ground lead, so let's rework it. And now we're good. And you'll notice I kind of pulled forwards on that to just sort of flatten out the wire, and it takes a little bit of the solder with it on the tip of the soldering iron. So here's what I mean about that. I really like to, especially with through holes, I really try my best to get the silicone right up against the PCB there. And that way when this thing bends, it's got a little bit more support from the silicone. And then what I like to do is bend these at a little bit of an angle here, just so that they exit out the back of the frame a little bit more nicely. And now what you're going to do is take your little 5X loop that you need to have. There's a link to this down below in the description. This is super important. You're going to use this to check your work and just look really closely. Make sure that the wires are in the little pockets that are in the frame, that are in the PCB. And also just, yeah, take a closer look at what you did. Make sure there's no big like craters in the solder. And we're looking pretty good here. I could rework the ground again, but nah, we're fine. We got plenty of contact there. So that's that. That's swapping over from PH 2.0 to BT 2.0. Let me see how closely I can get this to kind of focus for you guys. There you go. A little bit more light in here. Come on, buddy, focus for me. There you go. There you have it. And there's also a really good close look at the BLV4. I guess that's a little too close. It's hard to see. I would need like a legit microscope setup to show you. That's the kind of annoying thing about Tinywhoop stuff, is it's just a little too small. But you'll get it. Get it. Magnification helps. All right, so we are BT 2.0'd. Let's throw this in the frame and get to work. So I got this little antenna here. This is the antenna that's going to shoot rearwards. So I'm going to put it, I'm going to kind of sandwich it over here in between these power leads and the USB, just to kind of hold it. Or maybe I'm not, because it doesn't want to go in there. Come on now, get in there. This will just keep it from whopping around. There we go. All right, cool. So this is then going to go up over the top of the frame. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, now that's just kind of tucked in between the power leads and the USB. So we're going to go BT 2.0 down through there. Oh, no, I got a bunch of other shit that I need to handle here first. Well, let's just put the grommets on it, and then we'll jump back into it. Newbie Drone uses pretty thick grommets here. I've been meaning to kind of play around with some thinner grommets to see if they help. I don't know. The whole grommet situation is kind of weird. There's a guy on... there's one other person that's been doing some black box, and he's also been doing vibrational analysis of the Meteor 65 frames over on Facebook. And he took... I don't know if he removed the rubber grommets and replaced them or what, but he's using the foam earplug material as dampers where these grommets are, either in addition to or instead of. And he's had really good. It's doing better in the black box logs than using rubber grommets, which is kind of wild. That was a week or two ago. I don't spend much time on Facebook, so I don't know if there's been any news on that, but I don't know. Hopefully something comes of that. It's cool when people actually do some some analysis and find stuff that works better rather than just talking smack. So you see it exits like that. It just goes on the top of the frame, and then there's another antenna on top. Bee Drone gives you this really nice T antenna, but it's kind of heavy. So I had a couple extra of these 2.4 gigahertz tuned antennas from the BLV4, and this saves almost half a gram. So I just snapped this onto the little IPEX on top. I think it's IPEX. And yeah, I'm just flying in the house, so the range on this is completely fine. So let's get this dropped down here. Jesus, these little IPEXs are just absurdly small. Get on there, little buddy. Come on. Almost. I didn't get that nice little snap, but let's take a look with the loop. Yep, nope, it's on there. Cool. All right, so that's good. That one I'm just going to run vertical out the top of the canopy. So let me just get that kind of pointing upwards a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, and then we've got to get our video antenna plugged in. In the interest of lightweight, I've been using these tiny little guys. You don't have to. This really does not save much, but yeah. I'm just trying to get this thing to fly as good as possible. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of video performance for the good of lightweight. Actually, last time I don't think I did this. Well, you know what? Let me not do this. Let me use this one because it's already like molded in the right shape. And also, I don't want to like make this thing fly better than the Mobula 6s just because it has a shittier antenna. The Mobula 6s I have on TrueRC singularity antennas. And the whole point here is to try to reduce the number of differences between these two rigs. So we're going to go with this antenna, which will perform closer to the singularity and be closer to that weight. All right, and now we're going to get the camera plugged in here. This is a Runcam Nano 3 that I have switched the plug over to Bee Drone's specific plug for their board here. And it's a little hard to get these plugged in, but you just keep screwing with it and you'll get it. Get this bent up a little bit. All right. Oh, it was in there. Come on, get in there. Get in there. A little bit more. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know I have it in there right. Where are those little skinny tweezers? The problem is it's so hard to get the plug in there. The tweezers are too thick, so you got to like hold it by the wires, and then like you kind of lose control over it, and then you still run into the tweezers being too thick. It's because you don't plug it in like totally flat against the PCB. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's super fiddly. There we go. Got it. And let's make sure it's seated all the way. These love to come unseated. This little plug it's okay. This little plug is okay, but I've had a bunch of, back when I used to fly the Bee Drone AIOs a lot, I would have these back out. There we go. All right, so that's plugged all the way in. And so now we are going to just route a couple of these antennas here. I'm routing this little ELRS tiny replacement antenna up vertically, and then the video antenna is going like 45 degrees out. And well, I guess I did it the other way around. Hold on. I went through the canopy with it like this. Okay, cool. All right, so that's going through the canopy. Get in there. Now I just got to get it plugged in. Okay. Good. All set. And run this guy just kind of straight up. That's fine. It's got a little mohawk, yo. A little mohawk of antennas. See it? See the Mohawk? Hold on, move this hand. There's the Mohawk. A Mohawk's worth of antennas. And this way you've got ELRS antennas pointing vertically, so there's a null going vertical and straight down, but then this guy has nulls going rearward and frontward, so the strongest part of this antenna covers up the weakest part of this one, and vice versa. Antenna mounting, if you ever have two antennas like this, you always want to do them 90 degrees from one another, and then they're going to work extremely well. Need a couple of screws here for the canopy. This is the 4-post canopy. So we need 4 of these little fellas. Okay. Let's get this screwed down. And then we can get into Betaflight, get this thing bound up, and I'm going to change a couple of things, but nothing major. We're going to fly this closer to stock this time. Thing I'm most curious about is the OSD. But we're also going to try to get this into escconfigurator.com. Although the only reason I was wanting to do that was, well, you know what? There is a new version of BlueJay, so that's kind of cool. We'll get this onto the I'd assume that this comes with BlueJay 0.16. Now there's 0.18, I think it was, that we saw the other night. That was kind of slick. The only reason I was trying to get this into ESC Configurator on part 3, I guess it was to turn on RPM filtering. Maybe I won't go down that road this time. Maybe I'll just leave the filtering as it comes from the factory. I'm not... So with the milkiness of the video, when it comes to this AIO, I'm not as interested in RPM filtering as I once was, if I'm totally honest with you guys. So yeah, maybe I'll just leave the filtering alone. And the tune that it comes with is like cranked out of the box, so the flight performance will be great right out of the box with this thing. As long as the OSD works, then yeah, it'll be a rig that flies really good. And that'll be sort of the end of the Acrobee BLV4 saga, I think. With the way that the video looks coming out of this, I'm not going to use this AIO for anything other than the tiny lifters. And the reason that I'm going to use it for the tiny lifters is because it takes 2S. And it's got the VTx and the receiver built in on board. So there it is. There's the fully upgraded BLV4. Let's hook up to Betaflight. Although, to be honest, if I can't get RPM filtering to work on this, I don't know if I'll use this on the tiny lifters. Unless the dynamic filtering just kind of works totally fine. So, we'll see. All right. Here we are. Forgot to tag you. First flight without payload went great, so I strapped a 900-gram dumbbell to it and couldn't even notice it. Nice. Abraham says, and did not rotate around the axis of Earth. It's still rotated around the quad Z axis, just with a certain angle offset for your FPV cam. This is different, independent of pitch angle. Oh, interesting. Independent of pitch angle. Oh, right. Very cool. Talking about the new 4.4 feature. Comfortably was getting 5 minutes and could stretch it to 6.5 minutes of flight time with a 900-gram weight. 6S 5200. Good Lord. What do those batteries cost? $250 each? I don't think they're that much. What are we doing? Betaflight. And I'm going to need a battery in a second, so that's fine. We got the crazy LEDs going wild here. Something that Bee Drone does that I really kind of dig. They put 2 nice bright RGB LEDs on it. Just kind of slick. You don't have to do any external LED-age. And they are LEDs that are addressable, which is slick. All right, so let's calibrate the accelerometer. It looks like it's pretty good already. right, all set. Nose down, nose up, left roll, right roll, yaw left, yaw right. So we're good to go here. Don't need to do anything on the ports tab. Configuration, it's set up on 3.2. Accelerometer is on. Magnetometer and barometer are off. That's good. Drop my name in here as always. Arming angle is set at 180. That's great. D-shot beacon configuration. We're going to turn both of these on, which is going to enable the ESC beeper. Makes it a little bit easier to find it if you lose it under the couch. LED strip is turned on. Air mode is permanently enabled. That's fine. And OSD is turned on. Save and reboot because we turned on the ESC beeper. All right. Power and battery. Minimum cell voltage 2.9. Warning 3.2. That's good. And we'll leave the rest of this stuff alone. Fail safe. We're going to change the guard time from 1 second to 3 seconds. Won't really matter, but it's just something that I do. I don't necessarily recommend that you do that, for the record. PID tuning, we're going to skip for the moment. Receiver tab. Crossfire. Let's move this auto factor for the RC smoothing up to 100, which is just where I prefer it. RC deadband, we're going to move up to 3. Yaw deadband up to 3. Stick low threshold to 1,000. Stick high threshold to 2,000. Once we get it bound, we'll kind of double check on that. Okay, modes tab. This is where we are going to move a couple of things around. I do not use angle mode. Horizon mode I have set all the way up here just in case I lose video. Beeper is going to be on aux 3 with the switch all the way down. LED low, that turns the LEDs down a little bit. We'll put that on aux 2 in this switch position, which is with the OSD off. OSD disable, we don't need to worry about. Black box, it does not have. Flip over after crash, we're just going to put, it's already on aux 3, which is great, but we're going to put it in the middle switch position. And launch control, just for funsies, we'll put on aux 2 in the middle switch position, and we'll save it. Adjustments, I've done videos on this before. I'm not going to dive all the way into it. This is how I... Let's turn this off. Let's leave this off just in case by some weird thing this is why it was the OSD was getting upset. But after I confirm that the OSD is not blinking out all over the place, we're gonna revisit that. Props. It's set up for props in. I'm set up for props out, and now we need to put some battery power to it. Actually, let's save and reboot first. We need to put some battery power to it and see what direction the motors are spinning. So. Quad has power, connect back up, back into the motors tab, motor direction, I understand the risks, wizard, start and spin motors. Motor 1 is wrong, click the button to reverse it. Motor 2 is correct, motor 3 is correct, motor 4 is wrong, click the button to reverse it. Click on stop motors, close, now all the motors are spinning the right direction. Bidirectional D-shot is not turned on. Motor idle percent is 5.5. That's fine. OSD. Let's see what they have from the factory for the OSD. Oh, not much. We are just going to leave it. I am just going to leave this OSD. All right. Video transmitter, low power disarm is turned to on. I prefer it to be on until first arm. I actually did talk to Dalton about that, and I recommended that they change that. Oh, look, they're dialing in race band 8 right out of the box. That's interesting. Power is set to 25. That's great. We're just going to hit save because we made that low power disarm change. $150 for 2 on Amazon. That's a great deal. Jesus. That's a really good deal. Just real quickly, I'm just going to change the color of these. I don't like when they move all around. I just like when they're a solid color. So we're going to save that. And we are all purpled up. Let's do red in the back. No, that's red on the bottom. I want purple on the bottom, red in the back. There we go. And one thing that I am going to do is come into the CLI and increase the PID sum. It's just silly to not have the PID sum cranked up. So you're going to type get PID sum, and then you're just going to select this. I'll leave crash recovery off on this too for the time being. And you're going to type set and then paste it and move the PID sum up to 1,000. Do the same thing with yaw here. This just gives the PID loop access to more power. Set, paste, delete 400, put in 1,000, and save. All right, so let's do it. Wait, no, I gotta get it bound. Here we go. This should be totally fine though. This should be, all right, ready? Hey guys, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Here's how you bind up a fully upgraded Newbie Drone Acrobee BLV4. You take your you take your transmitter, you turn it on. Step 1, turn on your transmitter. Now you're going to get into bind mode. I have a BetaFPV module back here. I'm going to push the button a couple of times. And it's not going to work. There we go. Packet array, bind mode. We're going to push the button to get this into bind mode. Press to send bind request. Pressing to send. It says binding. Now we're going to take our battery in the quad and we're going to plug it in 3 times really quick. There's a blue light, blue LED light on the board towards the front on the right. You're going to look for that to bind. Plug in. That light is going to flash once. Unplug. Plug in. It's going to flash once. Plug in a 3rd time. Now that little blue light is going to double flash. Blink, 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 blink. That means that this is in bind mode. We had already put this into bind mode. It no longer says that it's in bind mode, so that it should now be bound, but just for the sake of it, I'm going to really quickly hit the bind mode button again. When you put it into bind mode, it binds for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds or so. I want to make sure that it didn't. And there we go. So now that blue LED on the front of this board, which you can see there, is now solid blue. That means it's bound up, and that's all there is to it. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com and support your boy. Newbie Drone. Put that on the product pages, not the part 1 2-hour-long binding fiasco. Put what I just did onto your, because the Newbie Drone Acrobee BLV4 comes with ELRS 2.5 installed. So if your module or transmitter are also on ELRS 2.5, you're going to be totally fine. If they're on ELRS 3.0, you are going to need to put a different hex onto the BLV4, and Newbie Drone has instructions to do that on their website, on the product pages. There you go. Now we're good. Now this thing should be good to go. Let's see if it'll arm. Yep. It's going to arm. I can feel it. We got connection. Not wanting to arm though. That's interesting. I'll throw the goggles on and we'll see what the arming code is. Well, actually, I'll just do this. Oh, did I unplug the VRX? I did not. It might need to be unplugged. Hold on. USB 2.0 camera. That ain't it. Yeah, it looks like it needs to be power cycled. Hang on. Or it finally blew up because I left it plugged in for 1 too many days. Okay. There we go. And where are you at, little VRX? There it is. Hey! Alright, let's see what the arming flag is. There is none. Interesting. Hold on. Let's cycle power. Alright, so are warnings not turned on in the OSD, I wonder? Alright, let's go back into Betaflight and see what's happening here. So there's 2 ways that you can tell why a rig's not arming. If warnings is turned on in your OSD, it should tell you in the OSD. But you can if not, you can also look up here. Throttle MSP, throttle channel is too high. So that's interesting. What that means is that the zero throttle. Okay. So it's on the channel map. I forgot to change the channel map from AETR to TAER. My original transmitter 6+ years ago came set up TAER. I don't know why. So I have to always change that. Basically, it thought throttle was roll, and so it thought that I was at half throttle, and it won't arm when it's at half throttle. I am going to put warnings on in the OSD. I'm a little confused as to why they don't have... Yeah, they don't have the warnings turned on in the OSD. That's kind of an important one. So yeah, let's get warnings turned on. Move it up here. And cool. So that's the only change that we've made to the OSD, is to turn warnings on. Let's see. OSD seemed solid a minute ago, but we're not up in the air yet. So we're good to go now. I'm going to put the battery in the battery bay, and we're going to rip this thing around a little bit and see how the OSD does. How's this room looking? Clean? Nope. Filthy. That's fine. Here we go. Stone stock OSD. And do I have some goggles? I sure do. Slightly milky video. Those of you that watch the channel a lot are used to the Mobula 6 signal, which is a little cleaner. Man, it just got ultra milky. What happened there? Okay. I'm going to have to go walk and get that, aren't I? Nope, we're good. Okay. Hold on. Oh, wow, the tune is a little upset. So these are 0702 30,000 kV motors. This thing ships with PIDs that are designed for 0802, 19,000, or 25,000 kV motors. This tune right now is at the absolute limit. I want you to listen to what happens. I'm going to jam the throttle, and then I'm going to chop the throttle, and I want you to listen to what the motors do. Ready? You can see it. See it trying to fly away? That is a PID tune that is too aggressive. There's a very easy fix to that. Come on over here. You go left on the left stick, forward on the right stick. That brings you into your OSD. You go into Profile, Simplified Tuning. And now we see the D gains is turned up to 1.4. That's pretty aggressive. P&I gains are 1.0. That's not bad. Look at the master multiplier, though. See the master multiplier is up at 1.6? That's pretty aggressive. Let's move that down to 1.4. And then we're going to bring these D gains down a little bit, too, from 1.4 to 1.2. We've got motors that have more power. That's still not enough. Still not quite enough. These are motors that are not absolutely fresh, but they're also not banged up. Let me actually check on the health of these motors real quick. OSD is hanging in there. It's kind of jittering around a little bit, which is weird, but not the end of the world. Here's how you check to see if your motor shafts are bent, which is going to happen after a bunch of crashes. You go into turtle mode, you arm the quad, and then you just spin each motor up as slow as you can on the right stick, and you put your fingernail against the motor shaft. And you're feeling for vibes. And you do the next one. All right, not bad. Next one. And what you're trying to feel for is one motor vibrating more than the rest? Usually you won't bend all four the same amount. So this motor 4 is very slightly more vibey than the rest, but, and I've done this test a lot, so like I have a mental baseline for this, but none of these motors are really all that bad. They're all pretty similar, and when they're similar, that means they're never like perfect, so when they're all very similar, that means that they're kind of fine. I did move PID sum up. Let's take the PID sum out of it real quick here. Let's bring the PID sum back down and see if that's making a drastic difference. I gotta be honest. I'm I'm shocked. I was shocked from the bind and fly how aggressive the PIDs are that they send on this thing. On one hand, like, I love that because it makes the rigs fly really good. And on the 0802 19,000 kV motors that it ships with, man, the PID tune is just totally locked in. But when I started changing stuff on the part 2 video, it became really difficult. It was doing this behavior quite a bit. So we're gonna do. I already have it in the clipboard, so I'm just gonna type set PID sum limit yaw equals 400. I'm gonna drop that back in. What's the other one? I forget what the other one is called. So I'm just gonna type get PID sum. Oh, it's just called regular old PID sum limit. So then I'm gonna do set PID sum limit equals 500, which is the default non-yaw PID sum limit. And then we're gonna save it. And let's see if that makes a drastic difference or any difference. Looks like some of the rest of you guys use TAER. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's like an old school. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. Let's see if that changes things. So we've now taken half of the amount of power away from the PID loop. Nope. So this is what I found with PID sum. It improves flight performance, but it doesn't negatively affect flight performance. Here's the other big difference in this build as it sits right now versus the stock build, is that I have changed the frame. This Meteor 25 frame is significantly lighter and more durable, but it's also significantly more like bendy, and that is not good for PID tuning. So I've done a bunch of things here that that make this rig require less tuning, basically more filtering and less PID tuning. I'm gonna put PID sum back because it's gonna help flight performance, and we confirm there that it's not negatively affecting this in any way. So we're gonna put the PID sum back up to 1,000 and save. And now we're gonna try to work on these PIDs real quick to get this thing to kind of just chill out. I went through this same thing on the previous one. I had to bring these sliders down quite a bit. I think I had to bring the master multiplier down to 1.2, and I think I had to bring this D-gain slider down to 1.0. This is offset by the fact that I have motors on here that are more powerful. So even though I'm bringing these sliders down, the motors are more powerful. So if we can get it to not oscillate like that after I stab the throttle, it should actually be fine. Oh, wait, this anti-gravity is probably the problem. This is a really aggressive anti-gravity setting, a gain of 10. Let's drop this all the way down to, let's actually drop this all the way down to 4. And let me actually turn these back up because I want to confirm that it's the anti-gravity. So I'm still going to leave these down a little bit from the stock tune, but I did move these back up to where they were a second ago, and now I'm going to hit save. I am going to turn off VBAT sag compensation because I just don't like it. And I'm going to put this thrust linear down to a value of 10. Thrust linear boosts the PIDs at 0 throttle. I don't like that. And I'm going to put jitter reduction up to 15 just so I get my normal amount of stick smoothing. This also doesn't have my rates on it, so let me put my rates on here. Come on. This rates preview is not showing. That's a little weird. Throttle midpoint. I'm going to also add this, add a little bit of throttle expo. This is just stuff kind of personal to me. I'm going to take a quick look at the filters just for shits and giggles. Man, they got a lot of gyro filtering on here. Okay, let's see how it is. My guess is that this is going to be a little bit better. That anti-gravity setting of 10, man, that's a lot. I don't quite understand why they have that so aggressive. But let's see. Much better. So, much better, but not perfect. Listen to what it does after I come off the throttle. Ready? I think the situation right now is... So it's not oscillating, but it's also not dropping the motors all the way down as low as I usually like them to go from an RPM standpoint. Let's see what it's at idle though. Okay, so it just has a high idle. They've just got the motor idle percentage kind of cranked up. Let's try it in my hand. Yeah, you hear that? Hear how high pitched that is? Compare that to where I prefer the motors to spin down more. This is just any one of my rigs. Other Tinywhoops. You'll be able to hear it. Hey, listen. Come on. Come on. Hurry up and calibrate. Hear how much lower that is? It's going to ramp up, but... So they've just got a higher idle, and that's okay. I mean, I don't like it because it makes the rigs kind of hang up in the air. So let's actually change that because that's just silly. Now, I'm not going to be able to use the digital idle because RPM filtering is not turned on. And we're going to lose a little bit of performance because of that. But yeah, let's just get this motor idle percentage down. 5.5 is not all that high. Let's go to 4.5. I just want it a little bit closer to what is normal for me, so that I can more accurately kind of compare it. And yeah, you'll see here, dynamic idle is off because D-shot telemetry is off. So we don't get the benefit of dynamic idle, but we can try to get there. So the tune is now the tune is now kind of rocking. I'm going to turn dynamic damping back on because I really like it, and I've never seen any performance problems with it. So this is good, man. The D gains are at 1.2. The master multiplier is at 1.4. It looks like it was the anti-gravity being a little bit overactive. I'm going to move this I-term relax. No, it's already at 10, so that's good. And we'll leave everything else alone. Okay, let's fly it a little bit. Let's put a couple batteries through it. Now that the tune is kind of happy. And again, the reason why the tune was upset here is that I've changed frames, I've changed motors, and I've changed propellers. And you know, this is why like there is no one-size-fits-all PID tune. You have to custom tune when you start changing a bunch of stuff like that. So I guess the main thing that we're kind of keeping an eye on is the OSD. Does the OSD flake out? The big thing... Alright, so this battery's already dead. The big thing that I just can't get over with these Acrobee boards is how bad the video looks. Like it's just very, very milky. Newbie Drone uses a much smaller chip on their board to drive the OSD, and because of that, they have to put a transparent layer over the video for them to then draw their OSD on, and that transparent layer is just not completely transparent, so it gives you this slightly milky kind of look to the video, which you know, I mean, analog already doesn't look all that great. So I have a little bit of a hard time with it. Why are my goggles not picking up the video? What's happening? Oh, because I accidentally switched over to E-band. That'll do it. There we go. That'll be better. All right, so let's see how the... I mean, thus far, the OSD on the other board was bad from... Oh, boy. Well, now that I'm on a fully charged battery, the tune issue is back. Farts. So... Yeah. Can you hear it? You can see it. Yeah, that's pretty bad. All right, so let's. We're gonna have to keep. We're gonna have to keep pulling the tune down until we don't have that. So it was not anti-gravity related. It was just that the battery lost enough voltage that it was not. There we go. So this is now the second BLV4 where I had to do that exact same thing. On these sliders are now exactly where I had to get the sliders on the other one. So one kind of interesting thing about that is that, oh, come on now. I need to remember that I'm flying something different here. Wow, that was close. All right, so let's check the tune. Tune's still fine though. No bounce back. Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely not as dialed as the Mobula 6 tunes, but it ain't bad. It's not bad. OSD's hanging in. Every once in a while, it kind of like blips a little bit. Let's go upstairs. Put some distance on it. See how it does when the video starts to go a little angry. Well, the rapid fire is just kicking ass as always. So, all right, let's try to do some dumb shit and crash it. Put some abuse into it. Flies fine. Flies totally fine. I really don't. I don't think. Although you can see that. See that on the catch there. It got a little prop washy. But the Mobula 6 rigs do that. That's like I'm asking a lot of a Tinywhoop. I think that's more. That was a big one. I think that's more just the Tinywhoop motors running out of jam. Just in general, these little motors kind of running out of jam. Oh boy. That's more beating the motors than the AIO, if I'm honest. Oh god. Oh boy. Seems to be totally fine. Runtime is looking pretty good too. Oh, I did not need to disarm. Runtime is looking completely fine, which is good. Battery's getting low. Oh god, come home. Make it home. Don't make me walk. Oh shit. Yes. Don't do that. That's a stupid thing to do. Yes, it is a True RC coffee mug back behind my monitor. Kevin, they sent me that for Christmas one year in an order. Hugo is awesome. That was a really cool little surprise. All right, let's just keep putting batteries through it. No, we'll do one more. We'll do one more battery. Well, okay, so now we confirmed that the Abraham says if you turn the OSD off, does the video get better? I have not tested that in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But let's try it. We're going to try it in two different ways. And I'm just going to do this inside of Betaflight. And it should automatically show it to you. Maybe not. Why is it not? Unlike the Happy Model boards, it does not run the VTx without a battery plugged in. Wow, it does not run the VTx at all when the USB is plugged in. That's interesting. All right, so I'm going to try it two different ways. I'm going to go into modes, and I'm going to turn on OSD disable to aux 2. This is the easy way to have a switch position with no OSD on it. If you want to fly and like capture analog footage. All right. But the problem is you're going to over discharge your batteries because you get no warnings whatsoever. Let's see if it makes any difference when I turn the OSD off. Wow, it does it ever. I did not realize that. Let's see if it... so that's interesting. Wow, good call. Okay, so that full-blown disables the OSD. My God, what a difference. Here's what I'm curious about. Does it make it more blurry? It does not make it more blurry. It just makes it darker. Look for like a spot with detail, like that would have a gap that you would want to shoot. Like pretend you're gonna shoot a gap in between these two rigs. Maybe it does make it a little bit more blurry. So let's try this. The reason why I didn't realize that is because I don't use that OSD disable anymore. I use the different OSD layouts. And Abraham, we're gonna check the milkiness in a second, but I want to check this first. So I'm gonna turn off the OSD disable real quick. This is how I get a clean OSD without with warnings and only warnings. I've shown this a couple times. I don't want to talk all the way through it because it's already 8:40. But that's how I do it. OSD profile selection on aux2, and then we're gonna come in here to OSD, and we have to turn on. Oh shit! Did I not save that? I did save it. Okay, cool. So we need to come in here and turn on some extra OSD elements on 1 and 2. But the fuck was that? What? Come back, yo. There it is. So yeah, I'm gonna turn these on 1 and 2. Why does that keep happening? Stop doing that. What? Come on now. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna move this down a little bit. It's a little too high. You know what? I'm gonna start to put my OSD stuff. Don't do that. All right, let's leave it there. That's fine. Save. So this is now, and I bet you this does not do the same thing that OSD disable just did. Let's take a look. I bet you this does not have any effect when I turn the OSD off and on. Oh, it does. I'll be damned. Okay, cool. So that's still a way of doing it. Interesting. Oh, and now look at the OSD is starting to go crazy. The OSD is starting to screw up now. Oh, wait, no, there it goes. Oh, air mode. Okay, no. Yeah, no, we're fine. We're fine. So... interesting. All right, so now we're going to see if the video is milky. Here's the thing, though. I need to let this board cool down a little bit. Okay, do I have... I do. So I have a Happy Model AIO with the exact same camera as that's in this. So now... this is the big test. This is the really big test. Oh shit, Aaron FPV broke his Tiny K. I am going to do this test with the OSD off. We now know that when you turn the OSD on the Newbie Drone rig, you get drastically less light into your eyeballs, which you can then offset by boosting up the brightness in your goggles, all right? the thing I'm most concerned about, and the thing the thing that keeps me from flying these Acrobee boards is the video seems to be like lower quality. It seems to be more milky is the word that I keep using. And that's what we're going to test now. So I already have this set up for no OSD. Let's do this. Let's do this too. Let's check the Happy model boards to see if there's any difference when we disable the OSD on those. I'm pretty sure there's not, but just for the sake of it, let's turn the OSD off on the Happy model board the same way that we just did on that, just to kind of make sure. OSD disable, add range, aux 2, all the way down. All right, so this is now set up exactly the same. Interesting. Okay, let's see. This is a Happy Model X12 board, same exact camera. OSD off, OSD on. Oh, I can't get the OSD to turn on. What the hell? What? Did I not hit save? I don't think I hit save. What a dummy. All right, hold on. Although I had no OSD at all. That was weird. Oh, it's because the wrong... I know why. I know why. It's because the wrong OSD thing is chosen. Hold on. No, OSD profile 1. We're good. What the fuck? OSD disable, aux 2. Switch position all the way down. Oh yeah, that should work. What? OSD profile 1. I think it's holding on to the last OSD profile. So let me just wait, no, it's not. I'm gonna have to plug this back in to fix this, but this is just a quick fix. Hold on. All right, let's see. And we would have seen it because I think it, but I just want to make sure that that switch is actually working. I'm sure that it was working, but let's just double check. VRX, and that, there we go. There's the OSD and no OSD. Wow, okay, it does add a little bit. But man, there's quite the difference between the two. Interesting. Damn. I did not know that. I did not know that. So yeah, no matter what, when you turn the OSD on, you lose a little bit of light. But man, what a difference. What a difference between the two. Okay. I see you. Last thing I want to check is if using the setup that I use with one OSD profile with only warnings on it, does that do I get the extra light? The answer is no, but let's just kind of confirm it real quick. So it's here. It wiped it out on me. That's interesting. OSD, aux 2, save. And then we need to go into modes and we need to turn OSD disable off because we don't want to fully disable the OSD. And then, okay. Denzel the Terrible says, is the exposure algorithm taking the white OSD into account? It's so weird. It's not. It's just when you turn the OSD on, whether it's the onboard OSD, whether it's the big chip that Happy Model uses or it's the smaller chip that Newbie Drone uses, it has to draw a transparent layer after it gets, so the camera signal comes into the AIO and then it has to draw a transparent layer on top of that and then it sends that to the VTx. So that transparent layer is not fully transparent. But what it appears to be going on, here is that the big ass OSD chip is a much more transparent layer than the smaller OSD chip and setup that Newbie Drone has. So with the Happy Model rigs, you get a much more transparent layer. So what I'm going to do here is, using that switch, I'm going to switch to an OSD that only has the warnings. So it's still drawing something. So it should still turn on that that transparent layer here. But maybe not. Maybe it only puts that transparent layer on. My hope is that it only puts that transparent layer on when it flashes up a warning. That would be really cool. But I doubt that. I doubt that. So here we go again. Wow, it does. Holy shit. Cool. So yeah, my little clean setting. So once I get a warning, how can I trigger a warning? Yeah, there it is. So as soon as you get a warning, it starts to draw the OSD, and that's when you lose a little bit of light. That is brilliant. I love that. Okay, cool. So, all right. Now we need to really test here. Now this, so that's great. So my little setup of having a clean OSD on a third switch position, which only displays warnings, that is going to get you the best possible quality of video. Make sense? I know that doesn't make sense to someone. I apologize. But yeah, basically it's... You set up the adjustments like I just showed you twice, and then in the OSD tab, there are 3 different OSD profiles. The switch that you put it on, you switch in between those 3 different OSD profiles. So the way I have it set up is this switch controls those. So this is going to control this is going to trigger OSD profile 1, OSD profile 2, OSD profile 3. On OSD profiles 1 and 2, I have everything that I want turned on. On OSD profile 3, I have nothing turned on other than the warnings, so that when the battery gets low, it flashes up a low battery warning. But until the battery is low, I get no warnings and a nice clean OSD that I can DVR. There you go. There's the full description. This is now boiling hot, so we're not going to get the same quality of video. This is cooled down. Let's fly a battery on this 75 mil rig because I have a whole bunch here. That'll cool it down. And then we're going to do a quick comparison of video milkiness. Cool? This thing is boiling hot because it had no airflow. So this is a 1002, 23,500 kV, 75 Mobula 7 ELRS that we built 2 days ago. I didn't really... Oh my god, that extra weight is wild. I didn't really rail this around upstairs the other night because it was like midnight. Oh my god, see? There it is. There's the fatness. There's the extra momentum. So that the Newbie Drone rig that I was just flying is pretty damn close to the Mobula 6 rigs. In this room, this is where these 1002s are going to perform really well. This is the dream spot for them. And I gotta be honest, they feel way better in this room than they do in this basement. So if you've got a big old house with big tall ceilings like this, the 75 rigs are I still think the 65 rigs are better, but yeah, the 75 rigs are gonna come into their own a little bit more. See how it pulls out from that. Similar to the 0702 32,000s. But I'm having to really like I'm flying very carefully because of the extra weight. So like when it comes to getting into these really tight things, like I'm also using a lot more roll. Can you guys notice that like I'm not flying as flat as I usually do? If I fly this thing flat, oh god, it just the extra weight just makes it slide around. So I'm using a lot more roll than I usually do. But this feels way better up here than it did last night in the basement. I put a couple batteries into the basement and really got a feel for it. So this just right now, even in this big room, it just feels big. It feels like a much bigger, which it is. But yeah, like, yes, I can still do some stuff, but like when it comes to really tight stuff and like hitting all the little small gaps that you guys usually see me hit, this is just much more difficult. Let me try to fly it that way. Fuck. Oh boy. So this is one of the more difficult gaps in between here. But we got it. So you can still, I mean, yeah, it's not terrible. Like, I might be a little dramatic sometimes with, like, oh, it's the worst, but it's not. Oh, God. Oh. But I don't like this, and it's just making I'm not able to do as much stuff, and the stuff that I am doing, like this, it's kind of a one-trick pony. Like, it does that big, huge power loop pretty well, but like the other stuff, it just doesn't do as well. Oh God. And like I said, I'm having to really consciously force myself to roll a lot. Like see there, I didn't do it. I went back into like autopilot mode, where I fly really flat and bashed in. Jesus Christ. And bashed into something. Alright, so let me land and get this unplugged as quick as I can, because we want to test the video milkiness. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Now, we need to compare the... Yo, Heads is here. What's up, homie? You say 1002s on the 75. I tried too many of them and couldn't find any that didn't drift like a boat, lol. Yeah, these are the highest KV 1002s. The Flywoo Robo 23,500 1002s. These are coming off, and I'm going to put those 27,000 KV 0802s with the 1.5 mil shafts next. Okay, so we're testing the video between... Let me actually give this another second to kind of cool down. I'm going to put the new Gemfan 1.6 inch triblades on here. And then we are going to fly another battery on this rig just to see how they are. But I want to give these both. I want both of these AIOs to be at the same temperature, because the temperature of the AIO really does affect the quality of the video on these things. The VTxs get really hot really fast, and that makes them look pretty bad. So let's just take a second here to do a quick prop swap. My hunch is going to be that these propellers are too heavy for this rig. What time is it? 8. All right, so the kids are still awake. Good. All right, props out, props out. Okay. Upcoming calendar event. Oh, that's just our call. Yeah, the iGuide motors, that's it. All right. And so, video milkiness test. You guys decide. I'm gonna put both of these rigs in the same spot. I'm gonna point them. I'm gonna turn up the brightness in this room. Just to, yeah, I don't know. This room's pretty dark right now. So we're going to daylight balanced, and all right, cool. This is now the same brightness as like a typical house. We'll do the Bee Drone rig first, and then we'll do this rig, and you guys tell me. So what I want you to look at, there's an IKEA cube over there that's 3 by 3 squares. It's just like this cube here, boom, 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 boom. In that cube, there are gaps that are this big. Look at that cube and pretend like you're gonna try to shoot those gaps, and that's an easy spot to see like detail. And that's what my concern is, and what I think is that the Acrobee VTx, for whatever reason, it's just not, you don't get the same amount of sharpness out of it. All right, here we go. Newbie drone rig first. And I am going to switch off. Nah, you know what? Nobody's going to fly without OSD, so I'm going to leave the OSD on. I don't think it's really fair to expect the OSD to be swapped off, turned off. Well, I'll do it both ways. OSD on, OSD off. OSD on. Well, you can see it. I don't have to tell you. My God, it's so... Oh, now the OSD is freaking out. That was the problem I was having before, but now it seems to be okay. All right, ready? And so there's that. And wait, no, let me set this flat in case somebody wants to do a screenshot. So there you go. That's it, sitting flat with the OSD off, all the way off. Okay? And I'm going to line this up. The globe is right on the right side of the frame, okay? And here is the Happy model. Now, this is a Happy model X12, which I don't usually run. Oh, and I have more up tilt on this. Hold on. Let me get the... Oh, shit. Push the up tilt too far down now. There we go. Anybody want to screenshot that for me? Looks pretty similar now. Now that the OSD is off, I think it looks a lot closer, right? Let me do this. I am going to screenshot it my damn self, and I'm going to use the Immersion RC power play, because this is the best. This is the best I've ever seen DVR look. And so we plug in up here, and then we plug into this little fella. Power it up. All right. I just want to make sure both AIOs are as cool as possible. All right. Try to make sure the up tilt is roughly the same on these two. A little bit more up tilt on this one. Let me also clean both lenses. Same exact cameras. What I will say is that, well, I'll do it both ways. I'll turn the OSD on both of them and off. And we'll do 4 screenshots. All right, both lenses are clean. I'm gonna get the power play recording here. What's happening? Why won't you record? Oh, there it goes. All right, here we go again. Newbie drone first. Power. Put it up here. Ah, shit. I'm using the stream to line it up. All right, globe is on the right side there. And this is recording. That's OSD off. Oh my God. OSD is kind of weird again. All right, there's that. And then now we're going to show this one. Okay. Powering up. Show the other quad just so that 6 months from now I know what the hell this footage was. Line it up with the globe. Still recording. OSD off. OSD on. OSD off. OSD on. There we go. Okay. Stop recording on the power play. And let's pull the memory card and we'll take a look. All right. So this is kind of it. We've given the newbie drone all the possible love to look as good as the regular OSD chipped rigs. Here we go, tiny card, and should be this file here. Okay, good deal. So let's open this up in INA. No, it was just the what you guys were hearing was the transmitter vibrating, I think. All right. So okay, there we go. And now we're gonna do. Ah, shit, that's gonna take 2 screenshots, isn't it? Well, that's fine. All right, so that's OSD off. OSD on. Okay. Another screenshot. OSD is getting all funky there. Yeah, so I mean, the OSD is way better on this board, but it's still acting a little bit weird. And now here we go with, oh yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference. Sorry, newbie drone. I mean, I tried. I really tried. I mean, there's a definite difference there. OSD on. Well, there it is, friends. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Let's get these screenshots in a row here. So there's going to be a bunch of my other screen. So let's just get rid of those. And okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and now I'm going to do the smart thing, and I'm going to name these. All right, so it's, come on, let me rename it. NBD OSD off. And then NBD OSD on. And then we've got mob. Well, no, it's actually a Mobula 7. OSD off. Copy that. Okay. And then OSD on. And now we're gonna just shuffle these around. OSD on, OSD off. Okay, newbie drone OSD off, Mobula 7 OSD off. So here you go. Newbie drone, Mobula. Newbie drone, Mobula. So this is both with no OSD. Very obviously the newbie drone has a lot less light coming through. But like if you look up in here, there's also less detail coming through. The holes in the IKEA cube are awful big. So you can pretty easily, oh god damn you. You can pretty easily kind of see that, but yeah. Even with the OSD off, it's just so much more dim coming through the newbie drone rig. And I mean, yeah, I guess technically you could just bump the brightness up in your goggles, but see, like look here too. Like look up here in the detail of the like it might be hard for you guys to see it, but it's easy for me to see. There's just less detail. Oh, look at this. Look at this gate. This gate disappears. This is what I've noticed with the newbie drone is these gates just disappear. Like I can't see that gate at all here. And now I can see it. Is that coming through in the video? I hope so. And now with OSD on, it's the same situation. Yeah, you can see the lack of detail here. Yeah. Okay, so it's not nearly as bad as I thought. I will say that. It is not nearly as bad as I was initially... Because what I initially had seen was the OSD on, like, just being crazy dark. So yeah, I'm not... It's... I don't know if I'm going to use the word milky anymore. I think it's just letting less light through. I don't know. It doesn't look as good. That's what I'll say. Bird Alive says, you guys have a good night in the Discord chat. Seen ya. Let me get caught up on chat real quick. I've been kind of head down for a while here. StavelFPV says, pull up the video on Newbie to see how to bind it. Dubsquirt says, why not using a binding phrase? Because I am using a binding phrase, but you still have to do that bind. ELRS is a bit of a mystery to me still, but yeah, I don't know. I use binding phrases, but I think it's because it's not SPI. I think it's because it's UART based. You can't just dump something into the CLI and have it bind. But Michael D says, Newbie Drone has the video link to the time when you got it bound with the plug and unplug steps. I know. I asked him to take it down. I didn't ask him to take it down. I just told him, like, hey, you realize there's wrong info in that, right? So they know. So they're doing it on purpose. 661 says, what's up? Just got here. Ever fly the 1002 75mm? I did on the previous stream after I built it, and I flew it a little bit ago tonight. Kevin Sumner says, Motor be like sending good vibes your way. Kevin Sumner says, no, we got that. 661, driving so it's hard to type, but I turn anti-gravity off completely on Tinywhoops. High PIDs don't work well with anti-gravity. That's interesting. I could try to turn it all the way off. Abraham says, if you turn off OSD, does the video get better? We tested that. Abraham says, makes the other cameras look milky too then. Denzel Table says, is the exposure... We talked about that. Kiz Bartlett finally moving away from FR Sky, got an ELRS module. Do you know what boards the Mobula 6 ELRS uses? What? I'd rather do an AIO swap for now rather than get the whole new setup. Know what boards the... I don't understand that question, Kiz. ELRS module, do you know what boards the ELRS? For some reason, I can't understand that question, brother. I apologize. Ask it a different way. Ask it like you're talking to an 8-year-old. Denzel the Terrible says, CiottiFPV do Bluetooth rabbit. Stavel says, Newbie Drone, newbies won't tell a difference. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is, yep. And Newbie Drone is, you know, catering to the newbies, and their boards have some amazing features on them. So, like, no hate towards them. But for me, I'm not going to run them. I'm not going to run the Newbie Drone board because the video doesn't look as good. Sorry, like, that's a big deal. Like, analog needs the video to look absolutely as good as possible. And if it's going to look at all worse, I'm done. Like, that's a deal breaker for me. What I am happy about, though, is that now I know. So what I'm going to do on the tiny lifters is fly without OSD. Now I know that if I turn off, I'm going to do my same 3-position switch. So I'm going to run it in position 3 where the warnings will come up. I was not previously doing that with the tiny lifters. I was flying with full OSD so that I could monitor RSSI and link quality and all that shit. So now that I know this, like, it's, yeah, if I get into a situation where basically what I'm going to do on the tiny lifters is, like, fly with the OSD on until there's a chance, until I need better video. And then when I need better video, I can flip the OSD off real quick, fly in the more challenging areas where I need better video, and then whenever I need to, I can just pop the switch up and check my RSSI real quick and then turn it back off. So that's like a big deal. Like that's really nice. And I now know that I'm only sacrificing a little bit of video quality. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. Kiz Bartlett says, what AIO does the Mobula 6 ELRS use? There's not really like a name for it. It's just called like Happy Model F4 ELRS AIO, but it's the full-sized AIO. It's not the cut-down diamond one. It's the full-size one, and it's not the X12. But it doesn't really like have a name. It's just like Happy Model F4 ELRS. I guess that's the name. Stavel says, can we test which board lasts longer? Unfortunately not. Like, the boards are all over the damn place. One board will last forever, another board will last 2 batteries. I'll bet you that the newbie drone boards are going to last longer than the Happy Model boards, but that's a total guess. So yeah, and I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to put a ton of batteries through the newbie drone board. I'm going to put the newbie drone board into the tiny lifters. That's what the newbie drone boards do well, in my opinion, is they run 2S. And 2S allows me to have these tiny lifters, which are just hysterical. So for me, the newbie drone boards are for the tiny lifters. I would love it if there wasn't this difference in video quality, because then I would just get rid of all the Happy Model boards and just have all newbie drone boards. But yeah, it doesn't look quite as good. So let's test these. HQ props. No, it's already too late. Friday we're gonna test the HQ props and other things. I'm gonna test the HQ props tonight on my side, but you guys don't get to see it. We'll do it on Friday. Friday we'll dive in. We're already 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's wild. Because what it says looks like it ELRS F4. Cool. Man. Interesting as hell. Wait. No. I gotta fly these triblades. I said I was gonna fly these triblades, and then I almost didn't. Let's fly them real quick. So, I mean, 1102s couldn't handle these triblades, so I can't imagine these 1002s well, but don't know unless you try. Let's see. These are the brand new Gemfan lower pitch, lighter weight 1.6 inch tries. Come on. Oh, wow, okay. So they're not quite as well balanced. Oh boy. They're not quite as well balanced as the bi-blades. Still alright though. Oh, farts. Damn it. I gotta fly these 75mm rigs differently. I just gotta fly them way more carefully. I think it makes more power, which doesn't always happen when on these tiny whoops when going from 2 blades to 3 blades. Oh yeah, it makes more power for sure. Well, that's pretty cool. What that actually means is that these 1002s can handle these new tri-blades, which is awesome. But now this rig feels even more overpowered. Hi, baby. What are you doing? Get off those dishes! Those are my dishes! Let me do those dishes, damn you. You already do too much. All right, so we are getting to see the difference in the weight of the propellers, though. See, when I catch, well, now it caught flat. But that previous catch, it prop washed a little bit, and on the bi-blades, it was not prop washing at all. It just still feels huge. It feels like it's too big of a rig for this pretty big room. The 65s just feel so much smaller. They're so much more nimble. And with stick smoothing in Betaflight, they don't feel twitchy at all. Ooh, caught the edge of the counter, I guess. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Man, you really can't tell the difference in video when you turn this OSD off and on the Mobula board. Whereas on the newbie drone board, oh god, on the newbie drone board, it's clear as day. Oh boy. Yeah, I have to roll so hard to get the thing to stop from the extra weight. Oh, there's Duke. Let me get out of here. And like I'm starting to get used to it. but I'm not like falling in love with it. I don't like it. What's happening? You're good, baby. You're good. Thank you. There we go. That was weird. Why wouldn't it turtle mode over? That was really strange. Yeah, as long as I put a whole bunch more roll in, it's flyable, but man, it feels very out of control. Yeah, not my cup of tea. But if it is your cup of tea, I love that for you. I really do. Fly whatever you want. Don't let a gangly man tell you what to do. But I still do think that the 65 rigs make more sense for indoor freestyle. It makes it easier. It literally makes it easier to fly. What Head says about the twitchiness, I think you can cure pretty easily with stick smoothing. But I have always said that if there's something about like a piece of gear or a propeller or a motor that connects better with your brain, that's all that matters. Like, but you like that's on you guys. You know, like people are gonna say everything is the greatest forever. You know, in this case, like less weight is gonna carry less momentum. And flying inside the house acro is super difficult. It took me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of batteries to figure it out. And my goal is to help you be able to do it sooner than that, because that's a lot of work. These propellers actually feel really good on here. I'll be damned. Let's do a 300 mAh battery real quick, and then that's actually it. This is the lightest possible battery setup for this rig. This is the Emax 300 mAh. It's made by GNB. Great little battery. You're going to have to hand change the connector. You can only get them with GNB 27 connectors. So you're going to have to hand change it over to BT 2.0 or just set your rig up on GNB 27. But yeah, this is kind of the lightest that this rig is going to be with these 1002s. And I can immediately notice that it's a little bit better. It's definitely less slidey, but it's still a little slidey. And now that like I'm now like used to just rolling over more. So between this lighter battery and just kind of being used to rolling over more, it's there we go. Finally, Jesus. Can you guys tell? Can you guys tell how much more I'm having to roll? These little... Oh, God. Ah! What was that? I don't even know what that was. It's part of the sim rig? What the hell was that? There's also still like the laziness to this. Like if I need to make a correction, and that's kind of the other thing, is that like if I need to make a correction, it happens much slower. On the lighter rigs, they're much snappier, and like if you need to make that split-second decision, they're literally going to react quicker. Definitely better with the 300 mAh battery. Pretty serious decrease in runtime, though. I don't care about that, though. Tinywhoop batteries are cheap by a bunch. Ah. This rig flies funny. Alright, fuck this. Just to give you the last little comparison, we'll do a quick battery on the 65 rig so you can kind of see what I mean about the snappiness and just sort of like the accuracy and yeah. This is the 32. So, I mean, that's like a really overpowered rig. So I'm going to fly a kind of overpowered Mobula 6. This is on the 0702 32,000s. And this is on the old school Runcam Nano 3 with the lens that it first came with. See how it just stops? See, like when I catch that, it just stops? I'm so addicted to that. Ah! I'm still a shitty pilot, though. That was a close one. Ah! Yeah, and like those really sharp stops, they help me to hit like really low gaps like that. I almost disarmed. I was pushing up on the disarm switch. And I love doing that stuff. Like I really, has become like everything for me is, woo boy, is those real sharp. Oh, that was sick looking. I wish I could have hit it. Ah! There's crash recovery doing its thing. We're going to do a stream about crash recovery. See if it causes more crashes than it helps with. Yeah. Oh boy. Ah! Didn't quite get the elevation for that. Ah! Oh, that was sick. That was cool. Oh boy. Ah, I thought I could back through it. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Leave me alone. Oh God, it's tough to do that. You got to really get it. Oh, come on now. Oh. Oh, not having a great night. I think I went through them. What's happening? Why am I flying so poorly? All right, and we're stuck. Oh, I might have gotten it out. I think I did. Yeah, buddy. That's kind of like, that's also one of the things I love so much about 5-inch rigs is that like unbelievable authority. That's where like the word authority I think kind of comes in, is that they have that sharpness. And it's just so sick. Donnie with a $3 super chat. Thank you, homie. Burnsback Bean says, okay, I don't like 75 for inside either. Mayfair had a mansion, but Heads is ripping his garage dungeon, so I don't know. I know that's why I continue to revisit 75s, because Heads is flying it in a space that's smaller than what I've got. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't connect with my brain. But I do genuinely believe that 65s are easier to fly because they're quicker and they allow you to make those corrections and stop and start and yeah, I think that helps. Denzilla says somebody's just set it up so you can get chats on OSD. Thanks, friends. Thanks for hanging out. Longer stream, but we tested a bunch, and you guys had a bunch of really great questions, and I'm here for you. So I'm never gonna like rush through a stream where there's a bunch of really good questions that deserve to be talked about. So hope that's cool. If anybody is rewatching, no, it's too late. I was about to say, if anybody is rewatching this stream, can you give me some timestamps? Any of you guys that watch these streams not live, if you can ever drop a couple timestamps into the comments, it's so helpful, and I would so much appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I ran all 4 of those batteries. Newbie Drone BLV4. It looks like I got a bad one. The OSD seems solid on this one, which is great. But the video quality is not quite as good. I'm going to stop calling it milky. I'm going to start calling it darker and just not quite as good. Cool? Is that fair? It's fair, right? Love you guys. Here comes some random flying in vertical, which you're probably going to hate. But, you know, sometimes you got to fly your session 5 90 degrees to the side. Kids Bartlett. Video. Rotate. Come on, rotate. Where's rotate? Where's rotate? Rotation. 90 degrees. There we go. Enjoy, friends. I'll see you on Friday. We'll test these HQ props. Give you some jams here. Later, friends. Thanks for hanging.